is a bit restrictive to people who would want to petition Parliament, because previously I know that our attention has been brought to the presence of petitioners outside our gate through vuvuzelas, which can be very disruptive, and the Speaker has sent us to receive those petitions. So, Madam Speaker, I fear that that direction that you've given might have gone a bit too far. Processions, by their nature, they are disruptive to flow of traffic, they are disruptive to ordinary life, but that is what the Constitution expects.
Honorable Senators, I think the Senator for Nairobi is right that the provision in the Constitution talks about peaceful procession and unarmed. So to the extent that they are peaceful and unarmed, I think those processions should be acceptable. That is agreed. Can we move on now to Senator Kathuri? Order number 16.
Order number 16, the County Government Laws Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 52 of 2024. Second reading.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity to move this bill. And I beg to move that the County Government Laws Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 52 of 2024, be read the second time. Honorable Speaker, this bill actually touches on the work and the responsibilities of the deputy governors, who you very well know that, Madam Speaker, they live under a lot of pressure from the governors. So this bill is actually trying to see how, Madam Speaker, can you kindly allow my thoughts to flow properly by protecting me from Senator Medu can move even to the back side.
Give me, honorable senators, Majority Leader, please. Kindly, Senator for Kakamega and Majority Leader, can we let us accord some respect to the senator who's reading the bill? Let us listen, please.
So, Madam Speaker, I was saying, I meant that the County Government Laws Amendment Bill, this amendment to the Act of Parliament is to amend and allow the County Government Act to provide for specific functions for the Office of the Deputy Governor, and also to amend the Intergovernmental Relations Act and for connected purposes. I said, Madam Speaker, that the Deputy Governors, all the senators here, are aware that currently, with the statistics that I have, because we engaged the Deputy Governors during the stakeholders forum, 42 Deputy Governors are not seeing eye to eye with the young governors. And Madam Speaker, you know these people, these two leaders, are always elected together. They sit down and agree on how they will be able to marsal the votes so that they can get to the office. But once they get to the office, Madam Speaker, you know what happens. What happens when they get to the office? Immediately, then governors chase away the deputy governors. You remember, even I think almost 2 deputy governors have been brought here on impeachments. Yeah? So, Madam Speaker, this is a very important bill touching on devolution.
Senator Kathuri, did you actually move that the bill be read a second time?
Yes, I did.
You did? Okay, that's fine. Proceed.
I did. You know, I'm assistant legislator, Senator Catherine, the Madam Speaker. I did that, but you know there was a lot of noise from my backyard. So I sent the bill to be read the second time, and the answer will bear me witness. So, Madam Speaker, what I said is that what this bill is proposing to do, and all senators in this room, in this house, they know the problems that we have with the deputy governors and the governors. Madam Speaker, number one, what I'm proposing to do is to accord the deputy governors the functions, including the general administration of the county government and overseeing the implementation of county executive committee decisions. Madam Speaker, I'm also proposing that they undertake the functions of a specified appointed position in the county's executive committee as may be assigned by the governor. And also represent the governors and the county government in various official capacities in the national and the county levels of government. You know, Madam Speaker, at the moment, there is no deputy governor who can represent the governor in the Council of Governors. They have completely refused. And therefore, the deputy governors are left like, I don't want to say flangers because it is a very sensitive issue, and I can see my colleague is here, who is a defender of the girls. I don't want to use the word flower girls, but also nowadays they are flower boys, Madam Speaker. But I want to say deputy governors are being reduced.
Senator Kathuri, we don't have flower boys, we have page boys.
No, I meant flower boys in another connotation. No, I'm not referring to the weddings, Madam Speaker. They are men and boys who have become flower boys. No. I know what I mean.
Proceed, Senator.
So I don't want to be very specific on a particular
Senator Sige, what is your point of order?
Okay, thank you very much, Speaker, for the opportunity. This is actually a point of clarification, Chair. Senator, of course, for Meru, as he's a very seasoned legislator, as he has told us, will understand that this House is visible to the public. And in fact, we're not here to talk to each other or to ourselves, but we're here to educate the general public across the country. So when he says that he knows what he means when he is saying flower boys and flower girls, I don't understand how that would then educate the public on the bill that he is trying to move, because he needs to make sure that all of us understand and move with him in one accord. So may he explain and clarify what he means by flower girls and flower boys in county government, so that all of us, including the public, can be well informed. Thank you.
Thank you. Senator Kathuri, please explain who the flower boys are.
For the benefit of time, you know, I really want to manage the time nicely. Since they will not understand what I meant, Madam Speaker, I will withdraw.
Senator, the chair, or you want to withdraw?
That bit.
Thank you.
So that we can make progress. And I want members to speak on this important bill before we go too far. So, Madam Speaker, I said that we want also deputy governors to facilitate and maintain effective intergovernmental relations. And I was explaining that there is no governor who would allow a deputy governor to represent him or her in the national forums that we sit with the deputy presidents, with the president, even if they are incapacitated. They have agreed never to allow deputy governors to do anything outside the county. So this bill, Madam Speaker, and I want to quote one gentleman called Professor Ben Nwabweze, who said, concentration of government powers in the hands of one individual is the very definition of dictatorship. And absolute power is by its very nature capricious and despotic. So, Madam Speaker, the concentration of power within the office of the governor, because I was trying to do an analysis, what happens when we elect the president? When the president is elected, he is very magnanimous to give a lot of work to the deputy presidents. And the reason why even these deputy governors are suffering is because most of the county governors are not assigning them budgets to run their offices. So that is why sometimes even these guys, sometimes even they buy tea from themselves to run the office. They do so many things, even the cars. Sometimes they fuel themselves, Madam Speaker, because they have no budget for their offices. In the National Treasury, the Committee on Budget and Appropriations Committee allocates money to both the office of the President and the office of the Deputy President. Therefore, this bill will compel even the county assemblies to allow governors to allocate money to run the deputy governor's offices. Madam Speaker, I remember sometimes when we had issues in Meru, the deputy governor, water was disconnected, electricity, power was disconnected, he had no vehicle. He didn't survive miraculously. And therefore, all these deputy governors have come together and they are seeking and requesting this House to pass this bill so that they can be able to function properly. Some of these deputy governors are professionals, but their work, they don't have anything to do. They are professionals. They can contribute a lot in the respective county governments, but, Madam Speaker, they are not allowed to do anything. So, Madam Speaker, this bill has come the right time. Actually, we were to handle this bill when we were in Busia, but unfortunately, that was the best forum to discuss about it. But now, you can see, Madam Speaker, this is the right time. And so far, for the Senate, this one we are in, has considered the removal from office of Honorable Dr. William Odwall, the Deputy Governor of Siaya County, and Honorable Dr. Robert Monda, the Deputy Governor of Kisii County. And in both impeachments, reviewing the gap in the law due to a lack of clear functions and the laws of deputy governors. In many counties, this has contributed to rising tensions between governors and their deputies, which has actually destabilized the delivery of services in the county governments. So, Madam Speaker, as I said, we met all the deputy governors and their representatives, and I want to thank also the committee that handled this matter, led by Senator Abbas. But, Madam Speaker, they did very good work, and we processed this bill without any hitches. And, Madam Speaker, Article 179 of the Constitution of Kenya provides for the establishment of the county executive committees, which comprises the governor, the deputy governor, and the members appointed by the governor with the approval of the county assembly. In most county governments, actually the deputy governors even do not know when the cabinet sits. It's unfortunate. They don't get messages when the cabinet is sitting. It is that bad, Madam Speaker. And therefore, once this bill is enacted by the Senate and assented to by the President, it will do a lot of good to our devolution. And, Madam Speaker, since the Senate is meant to protect devolution, to protect the counties and the county governments, this bill sits properly within the mandate of the Senate. And, Madam Speaker, if there is any other bill that really touches on our work as Senate, is such a bill. So we really need the 40 Senate to make sure that we enact a law that will help our county governments function properly. I want to thank this House because from this year, Madam Speaker, this House also passed a law that has now allowed the county assemblies to access their money directly from Treasury, to be autonomous. And I want to thank them. They supported that bill which I brought to this House, and now the county assemblies, the 47 county assemblies are now autonomous. They are able now to plan for their activities and programs the way the Senate and the National Assembly does not, the running of the National Assembly and the Senate does not depend on the executive. So many years ago, when I was not a member, maybe 20 years or so ago or 30, the National Assembly, the Parliament used to queue at the office of the President so that they can get their money from the executive. So this is what actually we have been able to accord our county assemblies. And now they are happy. And also this other one, for the deputy governors, let us support these gentlemen. We know they are suffering from where we come from. And therefore, Madam Speaker, this is a very straightforward bill, which I don't want to take a lot of time because I can see my colleagues are really queuing. And I want to move and ask Senator Cherargei to second this bill. Thank you.
Senator Cherargei, before you second, allow me to make this communication. Honorable Senators, Honorable Senators, I would like to acknowledge the presence of a visiting delegation of 5 teachers and 108 students from Tenwek High School in Bomet County, who are seated in the public gallery. The delegation is visiting the Senate for an academic exposition, and on behalf of the Senate and on my own behalf, I extend a warm welcome to the delegation and wish them a fruitful visit. I thank you. I would now quickly like to allow Senator Cherargei to also welcome them for only 2 minutes.
Madam Speaker, thank you for the opportunity to welcome the students and teachers from Tenwek High School. Tenwek High School, Madam Speaker, is my school. That is the school where I honed my academic and political career, and I want to celebrate them today. In fact, Tenwek High School, Madam Speaker, is one of the 2 C1 schools in the county, and I'm proud of the school. In fact, last weekend, Madam Speaker, we were celebrating academic excellence as well as sports. This school, Madam Speaker, is the school that is representing the region in football. I'm very sure the leader of majority would be happy to hear that it is one that is representing the region in academics. As they are here, I'm very sure they have come in, they will go back having learned not only what goes on in this house, but also appreciated the work that we do. And they will pick up a number of characteristics that we always tell them, that this is a house where we debate, we legislate, and they will go back home with some good examples of how these are supposed to be done and how they are supposed to behave. As a matter of fact, Madam Speaker, among the greatest people who have come from this school is Honorable Wilson Soshon, one of my greatest teachers, who, by the way, yesterday was appointed, or rather nominated as one of the commissioners of the Teacher Service Commission. I celebrate the school, and I want to wish these great students and the teachers a wonderful stay, and, of course, together with Madam Senator Joyce Korir, who is here in the chamber, we will meet them behind to share more about what we do in the Senate. Welcome to the Senate. Joyce Korir.
I was just going to call Senator Commissioner
Thank you.
Joyce Korir to also give a 1 minute. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for giving me all of this opportunity to welcome our students and the teachers from Tenwek High. As just has been said by the Honorable Senator, this is one of the best performing school in the entire region, and I want to say that I must congratulate them. And I also want to appreciate the teachers for taking this opportunity to bring them here to learn on how the business of this house is being conducted. And I want to say that this is also a school that has produced a number of leaders, just as has been said by the Honorable Senator. This is one of the schools where my father-in-law was a student there. My husband was also a student there. My firstborn son was also a student there. So it's a school that has made us proud of. And I want to say that we wish them all the best, and I welcome them to this house. This is where they belong. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Senators, I see Senator Onyonka frantically asking. I don't know what his connection is, but Senator Onyonka, 1 minute, please.
Madam Speaker, I wanted to say that I also share history with Tenwek. I think I should say something. That I know Honorable Cherargei does not realize that, as he keeps saying how Matiang'i is a bad man, many of our patients actually go to Tenwek Health Hospital, which is one of the best hospitals in Kenya. And I want to tell the young men and the teachers up here that we are very proud that that hospital has actually been providing services to our people. Mr. Cherargei, could you please clap for me for being so intelligent? Thank you, Madam Chair.
I wish to confirm that Tenwek is an excellent hospital. Senator Cherargei, you may now second the
Thank you, Madam Speaker. As I second this amendment bill to the county government's amendment law of 2024, Madam Speaker, while I appreciate the nexus that Senator Onyonga is trying to create, but all the same, Madam Speaker, let me extend a warm welcome to the teachers and students of Tenwek Boys High School. We are proud. I think it's one of the best schools in the country. Of course, Kapsabet Boys being the top where I went to school, and I want to encourage them to keep the spirit coming, because, Madam Speaker, Kapsabet Boys, we have produced 2 presidents, the 5th president, Dr. William Ruto, and the former President Moi. And of course, you as truly. So please work hard. We want to see you up there. And we are proud that you are senator. He doesn't say senator, you are senator, who is your presidium, Madam Speaker, is also a proud alma mater of that school and one of the top lawyer in the country, and also Senator Commissioner Joyce Korir. I wish I would have joined you on Saturday to celebrate. Thank you.
I hope his time is running.
Yes, of course it's running, Madam Speaker. I would have joined you on Saturday, but because of course, your senator knows why. Madam Speaker, let me begin by seconding. I have received so many phone calls from deputy governors, especially my brother, the distinguished senator of Meru, Cherargei Elder, the deputy speaker, seasoned legislator, Katuri Murungi, Kaduri, and also one of the proponents of Mount Kenya East, Madam Speaker, has ably put it, and Mount Kenya East spokesperson has ably put it, that most of our deputy governors have been reduced to reading newspapers, Madam Speaker. And, nowadays there are some national newspapers, like the one of Standard Group, which gives us funny and interesting stories that do not add up. They like reading, so they have been reduced to taking water, reading newspapers, waiting for lunchtime to go. But one thing, their offices are running dry. They don't have official vehicles, they don't have fuel, they don't have office allocation, they don't have anything, Madam Speaker. And you have to appreciate that most of the deputy governors are suffering from depression. Because if a governor notices that you are a threat to their political dominance in the county, they would want to vanquish you, Madam Speaker. I remember the story of Dr. Robert Monda from Kisii, where there was political witch hunt until he was ousted out of office. And therefore, we must agree. I remember the deputy governor of Uasin-Gishu, Engineer Bararot, was politically hounded out of the office through frustration, lack of cars, and many others, Madam Speaker. I remember the impeachment of Engineer CPA William Odwal. The impeachment came to this house of Siaya. He was politically hounded out by the Governor James Orengo and the rest until he's now frustrated. He can access the house. The petition is on the house, Madam Speaker. And you, Madam Speaker, you sit in devolution committee.
What is the point of order? Senator Eddy.
Madam Speaker, I am rising under point of order number 101 on imputing improper motive. Madam Speaker, you know the impeachment process of deputy governors affect this house both in reputation and on duty.
Senator Eddy, when you are raising a point of order, you go straight to the offending aspect.
That's what I'm going to. Right?
No, you seem to be laying some background on something. Just go to the offending bit, please.
Madam Speaker, I don't know whether you got what the senator for Nandia said, that in the impeachment of Dr. Monda of Kisii, it was a political witch hunt. And Madam Speaker, when he says that, and this House pronounced itself on the issue of Dr. Monda and impeach Dr. Monda, doesn't it impute improper motive in the entire House, Madam Speaker, that went through that case and impeached Dr. Monda? Because then, if you say it was a political witch hunt, then it affects the House that made that same decision, Madam Speaker.
That is true. Senator Cherargei, you will explain how the impeachment of Dr. Monda was a political witch hunt and provide evidence. And if you don't have that evidence, please withdraw and proceed with you.
Madam Speaker, impeachment is a political process. I expected the new deputy minority whip to be well-versed. Madam Speaker, I am saying it is part of political process, which is attributed.
Senator Cherargei, Senator, please substantiate that it was a witch hunt. That is actually what we're saying. Everybody knows it is a political
Let
process
me replace
as well.
with the word, it was a political process.
Withdraw the words witch hunt.
So I withdraw the word witch hunt and replace it with political process.
That is okay.
Which is the impeachment, which was, which when you go, you will understand the dynamics, Madam Speaker. So, Madam Speaker, what I'm just saying is that most of these processes, even the CPA William Odwal, sorry, of CIA, and I know your committee, it's lucky that you are a member of devolution, I think you are the vice chairperson, has even petitioned your committee on inaccessibility to his office. After the impeachment failed, the governor and his people have blocked access to CPA William Odwal, who is the duly deputy governor of CIA, even after the House rejected his impeachment. Similar to what happened, Madam Speaker, even on Engineer Parorot, the deputy governor of Wazingishu, was subjected to political machinations until he was forced out of office, Madam Speaker. You remember even we have limbo in Kericho, and I wish the majority leader was here. The engineer Fred Kirui, and don't see eye to eye with the governor. The deputy governor has never been allowed by the governor to access the office. The office has been blocked. There is no official vehicle. There is no fuel, Madam Speaker. And it is very sad that we are subjecting deputy governors to such inhuman process, Madam Speaker. And it is sad, even I've just seen Kericho County, Madam Speaker, this is the only county where they have closed their county referral hospital, Madam Speaker, today, where many people have called me to complain, because in this bill, we are proposing the liaison, the link, Madam Speaker, in this amendment between the county government and, so you can see Kericho, Madam Speaker, and I always wonder, health is a devolved function. Why would you close a county referral hospital like what has happened in Kericho? And we hope by the close of business, Kericho County Referral Hospital must be open because it's serving people from Kisii, Nyamira, and the entire of South Rift, Madam Speaker. So Engineer Fred Crew cannot access his office, Madam Speaker. So what we are trying to do, Madam Speaker, is to ensure that we give opportunity to deputy governors. Madam Speaker, if you are lucky to have a boss like Dr. William Ruto, I remember even the impeached deputy president, the president even allowed him a budget, allowed him to chair subcommittees of cabinet, allowed him to chair cabinet meetings, Madam Speaker. Even we have seen, Madam Speaker, Professor Kithure Kindiki. If you get
what is your point of order, Senator Methu?
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. And mine will be very, very quick, actually. I didn't want to disrupt the flow of thought of Senator Cherargei, because that is what he does to all of us. So I didn't want to serve him his own medicine. But when he says that the president allowed him some budget, that is where I would want him to substantiate, because I thought the budget-making process is a preserve of parliament. I thought it is our parliament that does all the budgets of all government agencies in the republic.
Madam Speaker, I didn't say on the budget. I said allowed him to chair some committee of the cabinet, some committees of cabinet.
Point of order, Madam Speaker. Point of order.
Yes, Senator Methu.
I think Hansard can be produced so that we actually know what he exactly said. Because Senator Cherargei...
Senator Cherargei, can you sit down so that...
Because Senator Cherargei actually said the president allowed him some budget. That is exactly what I heard. So if he is disputing that that is not what he said, Hansard can be produced.
Senator Cherargei, let's not pull and push.
Yes.
You know what you said, and you know whether it's appropriate or not, so you can withdraw. Very simple.
Madam Speaker, the budgetary making process generates from the executive. And the finance and budget member is here, Senator Minority Whip. Deputy, yes, Senator Edwin can inform me on the budget making process. You wanted to inform me?
No, you were actually, sorry.
You wanted to inform yourself.
Sorry, just proceed.
Okay. But what I'm saying, if you get a good boss, like President William Ruto, even the impeached deputy president was allowed a latitude to office operations, including sub-county. He was able to chair cabinet meetings, subcommittees of the cabinet. He was allowed office operations to do as per the law. Yet, under the Constitution, the deputy president is a principal assistant of the president. Even the current Professor Kithure Kindiki has now latitude of the office operations. In fact, he has been allowed to chair some committees of the cabinet. I know of governors who works very well with their deputy governors. Madam Speaker, what we are trying to do is put it in the law. We are not being prescriptive, but we want to assist deputy governors, because when you meet most of them, and later I would like to listen to Senator Beatrice Ogola, who was a CC in the previous, and Senator Karungo Atangwa, although he was impeached, to listen to their reasoning, how our cabinet.
What's your point of order, Senator Thangwa?
Madam Speaker, I don't know why we keep on entertaining this noisemaker, Madam Speaker. Because every time, instead of discussing substantive issues, he's always bringing drama in the Senate. Madam Speaker, I'm in this Senate elected by the people of Kiambu. And
Senator
the law
Thangwa
is very clear. If you are impeached, you should not be elected. But I was elected and I'm here, Madam Speaker.
Senator
I do not
Thangwa.
understand. He should come here and apologize. And we should not allow Senator Cherargei to be using this Senate to come and use the regulatory terms and come and demean people. Yesterday we were called grasshoppers, Madam Speaker. In Rwanda, they call people cockroaches. And that's why people fought,
Senator
Madam
Thangwa,
Speaker.
Senator Thangwa,
We should not allow,
order,
and it should
Senator
not happen,
Thangwa.
Madam Speaker.
Order, Senator Thangwa. You can sit. Senator Cherargei, do you have any evidence that Senator Thangwa was ever impeached? Please confirm that you have evidence he was impeached. If you don't have that evidence, please withdraw.
Madam Speaker, I would have wished that there are no noisemakers on the Senate. Maybe they escaped your...
Senator Cherargei, you'll be guided by the chair, after which then you can raise whatever issues.
What I'm doing, I have all the facts. He was impeached. I can table tomorrow.
So you can?
Yes, I will
so
table.
Tomorrow, at tomorrow's session,
Yes.
Senator Cherargei will table evidence that he has of Senator Thangwa being impeached.
Yes. What about the noisemaker part? Can you withdraw? There are no noisemakers.
Senator Thangwa, please withdraw the reference to noisemakers, please. Senator Matthew, I can hear what you're saying. You're asking him to defy the chair, which is not right. Please just withdraw and let us proceed.
Madam Speaker, I withdraw the use of noisemaker and instead say he makes a lot of noise.
Senator Thangwa, that is, I have not accepted that. Please just withdraw.
Madam Speaker, it's only that I respect you, but I don't respect Senator Cherargei. I withdraw.
Senator, just withdraw. Yeah. Okay, Senator Cherargei, you realize you are spending most of the time not speaking to the bill. Actually, you might want to help yourself on this.
Madam Speaker, the rules of debate are very clear, and I'm allowed in the next few minutes to canvass and give real-life examples. We need to interrelate of what we are legislating on what is happening on the ground, Madam Speaker, and therefore, I will restrict myself, Madam Speaker, as guided, and thank you for that, Madam Speaker. So we are looking at deputy governors who can work simultaneously, and that is why I was saying it was in good faith, Madam Speaker, that we were arguing that I would want to listen to people who have become CCMs in counties so that they can tell us what really goes on, Madam Speaker. But because I know a number of governors have worked very well with their governors. Madam Speaker, what is sad is that most of these deputy governors and governors normally work together in a county, and they work together to win votes. But when they go into running the government, like what we saw in Kericho, for example, because I'm well-versed, Madam Speaker, is now they do an Azimio-like thing. When they now start running the government, the divorce becomes noisy, messy, and with a lot of casualties, with the detriment of the performance in the running of the affairs of our county government, Madam Speaker. And that is why we are saying we want to, of course, we are aware under Article 179 that the chief executive officer is the governor, the deputy governor is the deputy chief executive officer. We have said the functions, county executive member. We are proposing that a DG can be given a position to be a CCM or county executive in charge of any department and participate. We are also aware that they can represent governors in various official capacities, national and county governments, including even funerals and birthday parties, but also national and county official functions. Because I have seen most of the deputy governors, Madam Speaker, when you are in social functions, they want to insist, even in mourning somebody, they want to say they represent the governor in giving condolences, Madam Speaker. I don't know the relation, but we are proposing that, Madam Speaker, that official and county functions, Madam Speaker. We are also proposing that we have intergovernmental relations as a member, maintain effective, Madam Speaker. We are aware that there are many challenges, Madam Speaker, that face county governments, especially in the issues of assets management, issues of transfer of liabilities, and preparing an asset register, Madam Speaker. And therefore, we are proposing through Senator Katuri's bill that we look and ensure that they become of intergovernmental. Madam Speaker, we are aware also that whenever a governor is failing to attend inter-economic budget forum that is chaired by the deputy president, they are allowed to sit in the summit, and we are proposing that they should be there by law. It doesn't mean that if the governor and deputy governor don't see eye to eye, Madam Speaker, they cannot be allowed to ensure that they appear. So we are proposing, Madam Speaker, that they can sit in the summit that is chaired by the president in the IBEC. Madam Speaker, we are proposing that the deputy governor can appear before a county assembly on accountability and transparency matters, so that they can appear alongside CCM of Finance, especially on the audit reports, Madam Speaker, as envisaged in Article 229 of the Constitution of Kenya, where audit reports are normally generated and transmitted to the county assemblies and parliament, Madam Speaker. We are also proposing that they become part of the budgetary implementation and monitoring, especially in public participation, the finance bills that are generated by counties, Madam Speaker, so that we can ensure accountability in the running of the counties, Madam Speaker. We are also proposing, like Musalia, Prime Cabinet Secretary Office, to create a liaison between the county executive and the county assembly. You are aware the Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi, who is also the Minister of Foreign Affairs, has created an office that, like a liaison between the parliament and the executive. And therefore, we are proposing that the deputy governor can be given that role so that they ensure that the bills, the motions, or the issues that are being raised at the county assembly, Madam Speaker, can be done and can be equated to that. So we are proposing, like a liaison office, to create a link, Madam Speaker. And therefore, in a nutshell, Madam Speaker, because I want my colleagues to contribute, we are giving, Madam Speaker, I know most governors are doing this, and we appreciate them. My observation, because Dr. Willie, the deputy governor of Kisumu, is my good friend, I've seen him fairly working very well with Professor Anyang' Nyong'o, which is very impressive, representing them in many functions, both official and unofficial functions, Madam Speaker. We want counties to work together. These functions, Madam Speaker, there are some governors who are doing it. And I've given an example of President William Ruto. What we are seeing at national is we are mirroring with the counties. The way the relationship that the president and the deputy president works, we want to see governors working with their deputy governors together. We don't want to see governors where they want to undermine their deputies, Madam Speaker. With those very many remarks, I beg to second this bill, and I call upon my colleagues to also contribute, and we process for the benefit of the deputy governors of the Republic of Kenya. I yield back the mic, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Senator Cherargei, it is not you who calls upon the others to contribute. You may sit down. Honorable Senators, I propose the question that the County Government's Laws Amendment Bill, Senate Bills number 52 of 2024, be now read a second time. Senator Eddie Okech.
Madam Speaker, I want to thank you for this opportunity. Madam Speaker, this is a very important bill that, first of all, must start from onset seconding, because the author of this bill also, as he said, our DS is also a seasoned political leader in this country, And Madam Speaker, I've been impressed by how many bills he has been able to do in terms of responding to some of the needs in the counties. Madam Speaker, you remember that from last year, the DS worked on the bill that could be able to bring about sanity between the county government and the county assemblies in terms of making sure that there's autonomy of the county assemblies in terms of running their own account and not depending on the CRF entirely in terms of dealing with their budgetary needs, so that there can be some sanity in terms of oversight by the MCAs. And I think this is also one of those areas that the DS has really spotted in terms of giving the deputy governors a very good direction in terms of getting proper assignments. Madam Speaker, our governors have become rogue. And I don't think that where one or two are doing well, we can congratulate them. I think that we have got a menace in the country where the governors are completely sidelining their deputies, one in the form of financial allocations on things they can be able to do. Madam Speaker, the way the dignity of this office were crafted by the Constitution was to the effect that if you strip off anybody their responsibility in the Constitution, then you strip off the dignity of the people in that particular office. The intention of the Constitution was that when you have got a deputy governor, they must be accorded the same executive status that the governor enjoys. Because these offices, Madam Speaker, are about dignifying the people themselves. And Madam Speaker, we know our counties are created, where for somebody even to be a deputy of a governor, it is a game of numbers, in the sense that one person will bring perhaps their region or their clan or their ethnic groups and then bring them in the mortgage of politics where they agree in the respect of that particular community or region. If you end up mistreating that particular deputy governor, you are actually mistreating the people who gave you their trust by voting for you, Madam Speaker. A case in example is Migori County, Madam Speaker. In Migori County, the chemistry has always been that when you take somebody from the Luo side, of course you have got a very serious cosmopoly in Migori County, without any disregard to any community in Migori County, because Migori County is one of the counties in Nyanza that is extremely cosmopolitan. We have got the Somalis in that community, Madam Speaker, and we have always elected, honorable members from that community. We have got the Luya community in that county in Migori, and we have always elected also the members of that community. We have got the Kurian community. We have got the Kisii, the Abagusi community that are very industrious in that community, Madam Speaker. And it happens that sometimes, and since the inception of the counties as a devolved system, Madam Speaker, it has always happened that the Luo side always takes the Kurian side as a deputy, governor to be able to run together. And Madam Speaker, you can imagine if you start mistreating that particular deputy governor from Kuria, you are not mistreating the deputy governor. You are mistreating the people of Kuria. You are disrespecting the people of Kuria who voted for you. You are removing the dignity of those people, Madam Speaker. And therefore, Madam Speaker, it's extremely important that we should not even just stop at assigning these duties. Because when I read this bill, Madam Speaker, I liked the concept and the intention of this bill. But my worry is it merely solves the problem. Because when you look at Section 32 that is being amended here, Madam Speaker, in my humble view, and DS, perhaps we can work on this together to make these functions more explicit. Because in my humble view, Madam Speaker, only point F, I can call it Section 32, subsection F, and subsection I, that give a practical role to the deputy governor. if you read subsection 32F, it says, where appointed as county government executive member under section B, make recommendation to the governor on matters relating to the specific appointed position in the county executive. This one is more explicit in terms of a role that can actually be executed. And then I says, assist the governor in the implementation of the county budget, including monitoring expenditure, ensuring fiscal responsibility, and promoting financial accountability as directed by the governor and in line with relevant national and county regulations. You see, Madam Speaker, I can see how this one can be implemented and be made an exclusive role to the deputy governor. But, Madam Speaker, if you look at the other proposed roles here, I feel like they are still ambiguous. They are still ambiguous in the sense that, and I hope that the author we can work on this, they are still ambiguous in the sense that they still leave the fate of responsibility and functions of the deputy governor to the goodwill of the governor. Madam Speaker, if the move of this motion will agree, we need to make these ones more explicit so that there is more dignity in terms of when the deputy governor takes a role to perform, it is not a role that is at the discretion of the governor. Because that's the lacuna. That is the lacuna. And Madam Speaker, we send so much monies to the counties, in fact, in almost 4 categories that we send monies to the counties, and the budgetary making process and the allocation of resources process, Madam Speaker, is almost explicitly given to the governor. He has got all the discretion to influence the budget making process to the extent that even the MCAs are removed from this, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, we send money to counties, 1, through the equitable share. 2, we send money through the additional revenue allocation, the CARA bills that we pass in this house, Madam Speaker. If you look at that CARA bills alone, Madam Speaker, you can find a lot of explicit ways to give the deputy governor power. For instance, you look at CARA, Madam Speaker, you'll find that some of the innovative things that we send additional revenue to the counties, you'll find things like FLOCA. Why is it that something like FLOCA, which is an independent project given to the county governments in the pretext of donations that we get from outside the country in terms of grants given to the government to address a particular problem, like FLOCA, Madam Speaker, addresses a particular climate change intervention problem that is supposed to come from the grassroots. Why can't we say that if we send additional revenue allocation to counties, the function for which we have sent that money must be checked on and performed by the deputy governor? That way, Madam Speaker, you'll be giving the deputy governor a particular portfolio to be able to, first of all, manage, but most importantly, execute the vision for implementation. Madam Speaker, another way that we send monies to the counties is through the World Bank resources that target, urban areas and cities. For instance, Madam Speaker, today, I saw in the order paper, although it was pushed down, that we wanted to discuss something around the Thika, being conferred a city status, the Thika town being conferred a city status, Madam Speaker. If you look at the Urban Areas and Cities Act, and then you go specifically towards dealing with municipalities, dealing with the urban populations in the counties, Madam Speaker, dealing with markets in some of these municipalities, Madam Speaker. For instance, in Migori County, we have got 4 municipalities. We have got the Rongo municipality, we have got Awendo municipality, we have got Migori municipality, and we have got Kenyans municipalities. And these municipalities, Madam Speaker, the money that we send in the additional revenue criteria from the World Bank that is dealing with ensuring urban population in these municipalities, Madam Speaker, although we have got the boards of these municipalities, and we have got the chairman of the board that runs these municipalities, Madam Speaker, the essence of service delivery in those municipalities, Madam Speaker, if you are explicit enough to give those functions whether it's supervision or otherwise implementation, to the deputy governor, then you are giving the deputy governor an explicit role that then will also empower the deputy governors in terms of thinking about financial and budgeting tools that sidelines those deputy governors, Madam Speaker. And Madam Speaker, we also have another opportunity that I think that perhaps the author of this bill, our able deputy speaker, and the esteemed Senator for Meru, who has been doing a lot of legislation in this House, Madam Speaker, another way that money goes to the CRF, apart from these three that I've mentioned, is through on-source revenue. And if there is no place that is so blurred to even the Senate as the on-source revenue. Madam Speaker, our governors are collecting millions and millions of money through on-source revenue that, if you look critically, is not even automated. You will find, for instance, in my county, Madam Speaker, that my governor collects what is declared is about 686 million in terms of on-source revenue, that, Madam Speaker. But if you look at the potential of the county, and even if you look at the data that comes from what you will see, border people, you will find that the governor, through his revenue officers, put borders to give him money through some rope of some sort in the middle of nowhere. You know, some revenue officers will be somewhere with some rope. A border person passes, they take money from that border person. Another border passes, they take money from that border person, Madam Speaker. How do you become sure that those revenue officers are taking those entire monies to the CRF? How are you sure that what is declared, Madam Speaker, from a rope that has been put somewhere in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of some bushes somewhere, how will you be sure that that money, Madam Speaker, goes to CRF? These are some of the places that if you were to put an executive, as a serious executive, as a deputy CEO of the county, to be able to both check the implementation of the on-source revenue, as well as be able to monitor, evaluate, and even ensure that there's accountability framework put on the on-source revenue infrastructure, Madam Speaker, and you give it to the deputy governor, I think then the deputy governor would have a very explicit role in contributing to the well-being of the economy, Madam Speaker. Yesterday, Madam Speaker, Senator Wambua came with a statement here on the problem of degradation of the rivers by harvesting of sand in Kitui. In fact, I wish we got the chance of commenting on that statement yesterday, Madam Speaker. But even when you go to Kitui and you look at the way sand is harvested, the revenue that comes from the sand, Madam Speaker, goes through an on-source revenue infrastructure, which, if it is not well placed and well put, like, for instance, what Senator Governor Kangata has done in Muranga, where you find that he has tried as much as possible to automate a number of revenue infrastructure in that county, Madam Speaker. If you look at Kitui, which is not dissimilar to Migori, where in Migori we also harvest sand, but the sand harvesting happens mostly from River Migori, as well as from the lake in a place called Modi in Nyatike. The sand harvesting and the money that is being gotten and received by the governor through his revenue officers, Madam Speaker, is completely not automated. And there's not even ways of thinking about how do you go and regenerate those riverbanks as well as the lake shores where this sand is taken from, Madam Speaker. There's no mechanism whatsoever of making sure that after those sand harvesting are done, then there is a way of going back to rehabilitate those lands, and there's a way of going back and plowing back those resources to the community to be able to help those communities. If you were to give the deputy governor a very specific role as such, then, Madam Speaker, I could see how then they become more meaningful. But if we just go with these omnibus statements, Madam Speaker, for instance, if you look at section 32(1)(a), it says that one of the roles that this bill is giving them is to deputize the governor in the execution of governance functions, including the general administration of the county government and overseeing the implementation of the county executive committee decisions. Madam Speaker, that still leaves the masses of governor as the one that will determine what that county deputy governor will do. Madam Speaker, the next one says here that undertake the functions of a specified appointed position in the county executives committee as may be assigned by the governor. Again, we are going back to leave the fate of the deputy governor in the hand of the governor. You see another one here, Madam Speaker, represent the governor and the county government in various official capacities at the national and the county levels of government. Madam Speaker, how will you implement this? With the ego we have seen the governors having in this country, Madam Speaker, where all functions are about them. In Migori County, Madam Speaker, my own governor even carries his own chair to those functions. And as a red carpet to those functions. And we have seen a number of governors doing this, you know. So I wonder which governor will allow their county governors, if there's no mutual understanding and mutual respect, which is what we're trying to solve here, Madam Speaker. I don't see any governor allowing their deputies to be the face of that county in national functions and to be the face of that county in county functions, Madam Speaker. And therefore, Madam Speaker, what I'm trying to say here without belaboring, because I really support this bill, is that for us to solve that lacuna of ambiguity of roles, let us use this bill to bring about amendments, and I hope that the author will listen to us and perhaps also allow us to draft some amendments, Madam Speaker, to make these functions of the deputy governor as explicit as we can. Because the functions of the governor are already so explicit, and I think that the opportunistic way to do that is look at the sources of revenue that are going to the county and align those sources of revenue with functions that they go with, and then look at what functions can the deputy governor do that is best. Because if you do that, then you'll give the county government some sanity, where even in a situation whereby there's financial sidelining and starvation that my friend Senator Cherargei was complaining here about, that in some county governments, like Siaya, the deputy governor is completely sidelined financially, and not just sidelined, also starved. You find that sometimes even just approval of vote aids for that deputy governor, as simple things as a vote aid on vehicles, a vote aid on some staff, a vote aid on some travel and subsistence, whether domestic or international, Madam Speaker, is completely sidelined. The best way to cure it is to make sure that the sources of resources that are going to county, the respective functions that are going to going with those resources, are looked at more holistically and objectively, and then assigned particular roles that goes with those resources. And I've cited a number of them from the World Bank side, from the additional revenue allocation. Maybe the hardest one to malign, Madam Speaker, might be difficult, is the equitable share. Because the equitable share sometimes, Madam Speaker, goes even to affect some of the overheads that do constitute the recurrent budgets of the county. And in some counties, Madam Speaker, we have also seen some serious projects that will constitute what we'll call flagship projects. For instance, in Migori County, Madam Speaker, we have seen 5 flagship projects that are going on that are affected in some way by the national revenue. We have got the stadium that is going on there. We have got markets that are going on. We have got KIPES. We have got the airport that is being made in Migori County, Madam Speaker, as well as generally the county headquarters. Those ones might be difficult to take away from the governor. But the ones that do affect some other sources of revenue that we might not be able to trace, like the on-source revenue, Madam Speaker, I strongly feel that if we align those functions with the deputy governor, then perhaps they will have some more meaning that always brings dignity not only to them, but also dignity to the people who actually fronted them or supported them to support the governor to take that seat. Therefore, Madam Speaker, I don't want to speak too much because there are colleagues who also want to contribute to this bill, but I do support this bill, but with some serious amendments to make these functions as explicit as possible. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Senator Methu.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. With your kind indulgence, if you allow, please allow me to also congratulate my brother, my age mate, Senator Edwin, on his appointment and new role as the Deputy Minority Whip. You know, Madam Speaker, for the 4 years that we've been here, we have seen the clock go all around. I was here when Senator Sifuna was hounding the Senator for Isiolo out of office, and we were all here. We were really happy about it. Senator Dango and I were removed from office by Senator Bunge la Mwananchi. He's the one that moved the motion here. Now he's with us in the trenches. We have seen everything here, and we shall see everything. So I congratulate Senator Edwin, and I tell you that enjoy when it lasts. Now you are Deputy Minority Whip, you are Chairman Committee on Roads, you are Vice Chair Committee on CPIC. Enjoy when it lasts. You have been there. And maybe you shall join us in the trenches someday. Madam Speaker, I thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to weigh in my thoughts on this particular bill. I have spoken about this many times, but I feel like the way this bill has been ordered, and that is why I would want to have a very serious conversation with Senator Edwin, Okech, because from his contribution, I think he has more problems with the bill than he supports the bill. In fact, he proposed more amendments than he supported what is contained in this bill. I feel like, Madam Speaker, the move of this motion, the Honorable Senator for Meru, is trying to cure a headache by cutting off the neck. He's actually trying to cure a diarrhea by stitching the exit. I don't feel, Madam Speaker, like, you know, Madam Speaker, there are two things we can't legislate. I don't know what is amusing to the Senator for Narok. Madam Speaker, Madam Speaker, you know there are two things we can't legislate. We can't legislate relationships, and we can't also legislate love. You know, those are issues that we can't legislate. Madam Speaker, the ultimate resolution of this particular challenge, because I think we have stated the problem. All of us have stated the problem that many deputy governors are suffering. I have said it many times. All of us have said it many times. But I don't think this piece of legislation is meant to actually cure that particular problem. In fact, I think we are digging a deeper hole than we are intending to cure. I think we are making it even worse. And I'll give you the illustration why. Let me say this. It is in the thinking of the move of this motion that once we allocate a specific responsibility and role on the deputy governor, then we can at least give the deputy governor some leverage in terms of the administration of a county. But let me tell you this, Madam Speaker. It is common knowledge that it is contained in the Constitution of Kenya that the chairman of the Intergovernmental Budget and Economic Council, IBEC, is the deputy president. In the days preceding to Mr. William Ruto's administration, Mr. William Ruto was the deputy president. When he fell out with his boss, President Uhuru Kenyatta, IBEC was being called and nobody was attending, despite the fact that it is contained in the Constitution, not in a statute, in the Constitution of Kenya, that the chairman of IBEC is the deputy president. When he fell out with President Uhuru Kenyatta, nobody was attending IBEC. He was calling IBEC and only governors from his own formation. In fact, let me say it, only governors from Rift Valley and a pocket of some governors from Central Kenya who supported him then were attending IBEC, despite the fact that it is contained in the Constitution. So therefore, even if we give the deputy governor a specific role to play in terms of the administration of the county government, I don't think we have cured the problem. Madam Speaker, I've seen that one of the proposals is that the deputy governor will be a member of the county executive committee, and in fact, ridiculously, there is something that has been contained here, that the deputy governor will be given notice of when the county executive committee is sitting. Do you actually know that in the Constitution of Kenya, Article 179(2), the deputy governor is an automatic member of the county executive committee. The county executive committee has county executive committee members appointed by the governor, and number two, the deputy governor and the governor himself. So there is nothing as it is now, even without this piece of legislation, there is nothing that stops the governor from inviting the deputy governor in county executive committee meetings. But they are complaining that they have never been invited. So therefore, when you say that you are compelling, you are saying that they should be invited, what stops them from being invited now? That is question number one. Question number two. If the deputy governor have fallen out with the governor, and we are saying the person who appoints this deputy governor to a substantive role in the county executive is the governor. So once they fall out, let me ask you, Madam Speaker, who is the accounting officer in the departments of county governments? They are the chief officers. Who appoints chief officers? The governor. So what are we saying when we say that the deputy governor will be appointed into a substantive office, and the accounting officer of that particular substantive office is a chief officer who has been appointed by the governor? Madam Speaker, do you actually know that in the years preceding 2022, it was actually an abomination for a permanent secretary, they are called principal secretary, for a principal secretary to even go and see the deputy president then, Mr. William Ruto, despite the fact that he was the second in command in the republic. I have told you, Madam Speaker, there is no way of legislating relationships. There is no way of legislating love. In fact, I think the most drastic way of sorting out this problem, it is my very, very considered opinion that for us to cure this problem, let us abolish and scrap the position of the deputy governor. That is the only way, in my opinion, we can cure this problem. In fact, why do we force people to have governors that they have not voted for? Because you see, we always say that if a governor dies, or if there is a vacancy in the office of the governor, if a governor dies, if he is jailed for more than 6 months, if they become bankrupt, if they become insane, then automatically the deputy governor takes over. What makes people believe that this deputy governor was being viewed by the voters in the same view as a governor of a county? In fact, the way Senator Eddy has said, and you know, Madam Speaker, I'm a Secretary General of a party. And you know how many egos are taken care of when we are trying to put people together. So I run against somebody, I defeat that person, and I take that person to be my running mate. That person has already been rejected by the voters, but because we need some convenience in terms of the clan, in terms of the region, then I'll pick this person to be my deputy. Even though he has been rejected by the voters, I've taken him as my deputy. Once I die, the person who was rejected comes up to become the governor through the back door, Madam Speaker. So I feel, and I strongly believe, and that is why I oppose this particular piece of legislation, that the only way to cure this particular problem is to abolish this position. Because once people fall out, it does not matter whether you have given them any role in the Constitution or not. Once they fall out, I have given you examples, even at the highest offices in the land. I'm happy that Senator Eddy has actually said that when a deputy governor is mistreating a governor, they are actually mistreating the people of the region where that person came from. I wonder where that wisdom was when they were impeaching Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, and William Ruto wants to say that it is not the people of that region that he impeached. You know, it is the same thinking for the deputy governor and for the deputy president. Madam Speaker, I have seen that the deputy governor wants to be given a role. I think it is 32. Madam Speaker, if you read the 32G, is what I was speaking about. He will attend county executive committee meetings as a member of the county executive committee, pursuant to Article 179 of the Constitution, and be entitled to reasonable notice of county executive committee meetings. I am asking this question. As it is now without this legislation, what stops a deputy governor from attending or getting notices of these meetings? He is a member of the executive committee anyway. With or without this legislation, the deputy governor is a member of the county executive anyway. So this number G is not supposed to be here. Now, if you read number H, Madam Speaker, from time to time, the deputy governor would appear to the county assembly to respond to questions regarding the implementation of the county development projects by the county executive committee. You know the reason why the governor is invited? The CEO of a county is a governor. And every time, even when people appear before either the committees of parliament, in Senate, and even in the county assembly, the accounting officers are the ones who are dealing with the finances of the county, Madam Speaker. So tell me, what role would a deputy governor be doing in the audit of a county? They have absolutely no role. They are not accounting officers. They are not. They have no role in terms of implementation. They have exactly nothing to do in terms of appearing for audit questions. Assuming, and I know there are some members of this house who have sat in the Public Accounts Committee, assuming we have invited a county to come and appear before Parliament, and a deputy governor appears. Do you think any committee of Parliament would want to listen to a deputy governor? Why would we listen to him? He has no, he has no executive authority of the county. Why is he appearing? What is he appearing here to do? Number I, assist the governor in the implementation of the county budget. Madam Speaker, since we are trying to bring this legislation to manage the relationship between the governor and the deputy governor, tell me, if you have already fallen out, how will that person assist me in the implementation of the budget? In fact, tell me, how is he meant to implement it, to assist in the implementation? Because you see, the county is divided in departments. There is a for example, there is a budget of the department for water. There is a budget for the department for sports. There is a budget for the department of roads. That department has a director. That department has a chief officer. That department has a CCM. Tell me, where does the deputy governor come in terms of implementation? Whether you like him or you don't like him, whether you hate him or you don't hate him, whether you are together or you have fallen out, how does the deputy governor come in? In fact, Madam Speaker, this bill, in my opinion, is very shallow. I do not see, well, let me not say that. If you read number I, it says, including monitoring expenditure. Ensuring fiscal responsibility and promoting financial accountability as directed by the governor. So, if you are fallen out with our governor, at what point will you be directed by the governor? How would a deputy governor, Madam Speaker, promote financial accountability? When I say this bill is shallow, this is what I am speaking about. How does a deputy governor monitor expenditure? He's not an accounting officer. Has no executive authority. How would that person monitor expenditure? How would a deputy governor monitor expenditure, Madam Speaker? Surely, even if, because you have been lobbied here by Senator Kaduri to come and support this bill, we can't just support aimlessly and just support because, he has told us to support, and there is nothing to it. He just wants to make deputy governors feel like there's something that we have done as a house, and we are creating more problems than we are trying to cure, Madam Speaker. Serve as an executive liaison office within the county assembly for the purposes, with the county assembly for the purposes of facilitating and fostering positive relations between the county assembly and the county executive committee, and enhancing smooth implementation of the county government's project and agenda and policies. Madam Speaker, as it is today, this role, I think, is the role of the county secretary. This role that has been given as role number J. So, will the deputy governor now double up as the county secretary? Will the deputy governor now be appointed as the county secretary? Or will the county secretary undertake the same responsibility as the deputy governor? Madam Speaker, there's one thing that we can't do. We can't come here in this house just for the purposes of making deputy governors feel happy and come and support a bill that is not supposed and is not meant to cure anything. There is no way you can give a responsibility that is already being held by somebody, and you are not saying what will happen to this other person. You are actually now creating two centers of power. When you make him the liaison between the county assembly and the county executive, and you have the county secretary, so what becomes of the county secretary? This, Madam Speaker, is creating a crisis on top of a crisis and is making, I do not even know, Madam Speaker. Number E is to engage with the public and various stakeholders on issues affecting respective county and put in place measures to address concerns, promote transparency, accountability, and in the governance process. Madam Speaker, if I was to read word by word, slowly, engage with the public, today, without this legislation, what stops the deputy governors from engaging the public? Why do we need this legislation for the deputy governor to engage with the public? I mean, I think that is exactly what they do every day. Even when they are fallen out, they still engage with the public, whether they are together or they are not together. You know, let me tell you, Madam Speaker, the ultimate cure, and I'll say it for the upteenth time, the ultimate cure, if you want to get any executive authority in terms of appointment, in terms of implementation, in terms of accountability, monitoring of expenditure, if that is what exactly we are looking for, run for the position of governor. A deputy governor, in my opinion, today as it is in the Constitution, is a spare wheel. A spare wheel is never useful so long as the four wheels of the car are intact. As it is today, Madam Speaker, up to until there's a vacancy in the office of the governor, you serve at the pleasure of the governor. That is what it is. And this bill is not making it any better, in my opinion, Madam Speaker. In fact, if you read from A all the way to J, you will not see anything new here. The only new thing in this bill is to say that a deputy governor will be appointed to a substantive position. First, you have not even been told what is this substantive role that you are being given. You know, somebody can say you'll be in charge of disaster management or whatever it is. You know, it's not specified. You're not being told. It is even better in the national government because the deputy governor is in charge, the deputy president, is in charge of IBEC. Now, in this case of the deputy governor, this role that you are saying that they should be appointed into a substantive role, we are not even saying what kind of a role is it. You can even be told that you'll be in charge of carrying the seat of the governor around. That is a substantive role. You can be told that you'll be in charge of county askaris or I don't know what. You know, this is a very ambiguous bill, Madam Speaker. And it's not a well-thought-of bill. This is not a bill that you can say somebody put a lot of effort in preparing this bill. It's just something that was crafted to just make governors feel happy. We are just massaging egos of the governors, deputy governors, for nothing, and making them feel like we are doing anything. We are passing a legislation to make them feel better. We are passing a legislation to make them feel like the Senate has actually addressed their issues. In this bill, nothing has been addressed. Nothing. Because even in terms of implementation of this particular bill, how do you implement this bill, Madam Speaker? Tell me, how do you tell deputy governors that they will be in charge of expenditure in their county, yet they are not accounting officers? How? I wish you even said they will not even be appointed as CCM, they will be appointed as chief officers, because at least a chief officer is an accounting officer. But you are saying that, Madam Speaker, with those very many remarks, I wish to say that I vehemently oppose this piece of legislation. I don't think we need to amend this. We need to just do away with it and do a fresh bill and make it better.
Senator Olekina.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, let me begin by appreciating the good senator from Meru for taking some time to try and resolve a dispute. The intention of the bill is very good, but the drafting of this bill risks creating another center of power. It will worsen the current situation of the conflict between the governors and the deputy governors. Madam Speaker, I feel the struggles, the challenges that the deputy governors go through. But honestly, we have to be very careful not to create a huge problem in the county in devolution that we may no longer be able to resolve. In this House, Madam Speaker, your chair ruled that only cabinet secretaries appear before committees of this House to be able to respond to matters that affect their respective departments, not a principal secretary. When we now come up with a legislation, and we are not specific in terms of the roles of that deputy governor by saying that when the governor is not able to appear in the summit, then you send the deputy governor. Without being specific, it will create serious problems, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the way this bill can make sense is if it is very clear, and I thought that the framers of the Constitution were very clear when they are creating the position of the deputy governor, which was clearly to deputize the governor, to carry out the functions that the governor assigns the deputy governor to carry out those functions. Madam Speaker, the problem is money. Our governors are living a lavish life. And of course, the deputy governors envy because they have both traversed their counties seeking for votes. They have gone as a team. And in most cases, Madam Speaker, and I'll try to demystify this further down, in our cultures, particularly the pastoralist, a governor is given more support if he selects a deputy from a very strong clan. So especially like in the Maasai community, we have two parallel clans. We have one called Odomongi, which is the red cow, and the other one is Orokiteng, which is the black cow. So when you look at the politics of Kajiado and Narok, in most cases, if a governor or a candidate is seeking to appoint a deputy governor, if he's coming from Orokiteng, he will actually appoint one from Odomongi, because then he will get the support of the rest. But where problems arise is when the two of you were living in an apartment in Kilimani.
Senators, please.
Then all of a sudden, you as the deputy governor continues to live in that apartment in Kilimani, but the governor who has come in now has a manicured mansion in Karen. That is where the problem is. The problem is not that the framers of the Constitution, particularly Article 179, which seems to be misunderstood here. And this is why sometimes I wonder whether we politicians become very adamant and we refuse to take advice from the Secretariat. Because I'm just trying to understand how the drafters of this legislation would actually repeat what is already in the law. Article 179(2), whereby the county governor and the deputy governor are members of the executive committee. So why would you then again come up with that provision in this law? So I don't know whether we put a lot of pressure with the drafters and we say, you must add this, or whether we are just trying to seek some relevance, or maybe it's an issue where it was an oversight. So, Madam Speaker, I want to reiterate by saying that the intention that the Deputy Speaker, the sponsor of the bill, had is noble, is very good. I feel the pressure that deputy governors have, which is mostly monetary. Some of them, Madam Speaker, we are told they are not even given fuel by their governors. If it is an issue of being very clear that because the deputy governor deputized the governor, let us be very clear in terms of their budget so that they do not have to depend on the governor to be given money to fuel their vehicles. Madam Speaker, we've had problems with the Assembly where we are talking about amending the PFM Act so that we can give the assemblies financial autonomy. Should we then be looking at the PFM Act and saying that, oh, this County Governments Act and maybe clarifying and saying the county deputy governor, since he's a deputy of the governor, should have a clear budget, a percentage, to be able to carry out functions. That is where this problem is coming. Number two, Madam Speaker, I would also feel discouraged. If I've traversed the county, I've come in as your deputy, and you barely even consider me. You don't give me tasks to do. So I'm just sitting in my office. I'm driving a fancy car. Sometimes it runs out of fuel. If we fight, I must step too low so that you can be able to send some money for me for fuel. So I would cry, and I would say I need to be, I need my role to be clearly defined. So, Madam Speaker, I don't subscribe to the school of thought that feels that we should kill the bill. I think we should work with the draft of the bill to be able to make it much more constitutional, because at the current drafting of this bill, it will create two centers of powers. The county governor and the deputy governor will both have their own fights. In fact, those fights will never stop. Those fights will continue. So if we want to be able to make devolution work, the first thing that we should incorporate in this bill, which I hope that the Deputy Speaker will be able to think about it, is a dispute resolution mechanism. When they fight between the governor and the deputy governor, there is a clause that should be added on how their dispute should be resolved. We should also be able to clarify and say, because of the constitutional duty of the deputy governor, that the assembly should define the deputy governor's budget. I support the role that every deputy governor may be assigned a docket in the county assembly, to be a CC of a particular docket. That will keep them busy, and that will also help them be able to contribute. And when they come together in the executive committee, they too can be able to contribute. The biggest challenge that I see, Madam Speaker, is that when it comes to even the executive committee, when they have those meetings, deputy governors never say anything. I want to remind those deputy governors who are out there to just take Article 179 of the Constitution and see that they are part and parcel of that executive committee. And in fact, Article 179 says the executive authority of the county is vested and exercised, is vested in and exercised by executive committee, which it is the governor, the deputy governor, and the 10 CCs. So, Madam Speaker,
Senator
my views on
Olekina.
this. Oh, Mr. Speaker,
Thank
I'm glad to see you.
I wanted
You're here.
I wanted you to take note of the change of the chair.
Thank you. You know, you change so often, sometimes we don't even get to see. So, Mr. Speaker, I think it is imperative that anyone who is given a responsibility, you carry that responsibility diligently. You know, there are counties that the governor and the deputy governor work very well. My 2 cents on this is that before you go into a campaign, the two of you should have a clear, legal binding memorandum, so that you can run the county effectively and not create 2 centers of powers. Earlier, I think a couple of years ago, if it was not last year, we were asked to impeach the deputy governor of Siaya. But this House did not feel that there were merits of impeaching that deputy governor. And in fact, what was happening is there was an issue of personality differences, conflicts between the governor, James Orengo, and his deputy. So should we allow ego or egoism to be able to dictate on how governance should be exercised? My answer to that is that no, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, I'd like to encourage my brother, the Deputy Speaker, to take some time and personally reread every clause, because most of the clauses here that they are proposing to be amended or to be included, particularly 32, they are all a repetition, and it's a creation of nothing but confusion as well as another center of power. Devolution should not be about power struggle. It should be about getting services to the people. Finally, Mr. Speaker, let me repeat what I just said, because it is very, very important. The intention of this bill is noble, but the drafting is where the problem arises. Let us define clearly the role of the deputy governor, and if we are not able to define it, we just do away with it. We scrap it. Once you scrap it, then we will not have these problems. If there is a change of governance, particularly if, let's say, for instance, a governor dies, then an election is held and a new governor is elected. Because in most cases, in all the 47 counties, there is no very good relationship between the governor and the deputy governor. And in fact, the running of the county is not determined by the two. It is determined by one person. So why are we wasting time and wasting public resources? Do away with the deputy governor position, leave the governor on its own, or define the budget and clearly say you will deputize the governor on A, B, C, but not try to say you are now giving him more powers, that he can appear before the summit, represent the governor, and you're not specific. Madam Speaker, if you read the Attorney General's Act, and Mr. Speaker, I'll tell you this. In the last administration, there was a huge conflict because there's a clause in the Attorney General's Act that says the Attorney General may designate certain powers to the Solicitor General. And when the Attorney General designated those powers to the Solicitor General, trust me, the person who was now in charge of government business was no longer the Attorney General, but the Solicitor General. That was a fact. So you want to create another problem here? Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Senator Olekina. Senator Mariam. Senator Thangwa, the chair who preceded myself had indicated the justifications why Senator Mariam would be given the opportunity ahead of you. I take note of the fact that from the system, it's Senator Manzo who ought to have been given the opportunity to speak, but allow the chair to interchange and permit members to contribute. Senator Mariam, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. Mr. Speaker, first of all, I have to congratulate the Deputy Speaker for coming up with this bill to solve some issues. Mr. Speaker, everything has been highlighted, but I wanted to highlight one thing instead of repeating myself. Mr. Speaker, in a primary act, the role of the deputy governor, they were given only 5 roles. In this one, I can see almost 10 roles which has been given. Mr. Speaker, one of them, of which I have some issues about it, is on G, which is attending the county executive meeting as a member of the county executive committees. Yes, it has been highlighted in Article 179(2) as the members of the CCM, but in that article and in the primary bill also, it is silent on the attendance of deputy governor to attend these CCM meetings. And that shows that it is rather open for him either to attend or not. But this one is restricting him to attend if he's on absent, there must be a notice. There must be also a notice to be given to the deputy governor, because currently the CCM, when they are making a meetings, the current governors, deputy governors, they are not aware. So there must be also a notice to be given. On H, from time to time appear before the county assembly to respond to the question related regarding the implementation of the county development projects by the county executive committee. Mr. Speaker, I totally disagree with this one because the county, when I take, let me take you to, on that one, Mr. Speaker, the chair of the CCM is the governor. If he is governor, now if you are giving a priority to the county assembly, he appear to the county assembly anytime, from time to time. That is contrary to the appointment where they are appointed as the county executive members, because who appoints him as a county executive member is the governor. So the overall chair is the CEO of the county government. The CEO of county government is responsible to answer all questions to the county assembly, not to him. Maybe he can appear to the county assembly on responding to the docket he has been given under the county executive committee members. Because when we visited some counties, we realized that CCM of health, most of them is deputy governor. Now, when the issue of county issue of the health issues to be raised, he can appear as a CCM, not as a county deputy governor. So they have to specify at what time he can appear on the county assembly to respond to a question to who. On the other one is on the issue of assisting governors in implementation of the county budgets. In this one, it is a blanket clause. It has to be specific to assisting governors in implementation of the county budget on which role he has been given as CCM. Because if he or she has not been given a CCM, he cannot take that opportunity of implementation of the budgets and monitoring of expenditure. So this one must be specifically to the role he or she has been given in the county CCM docket. As per the G, serve as executive liaison office with the county assembly for the purpose of facilitating and fostering the positive relationship between the county. Mr. Speaker, this one is overruled because he is not the CEO of the county executive. So the person who is county executive is a governor who contrary to the respond to the county assembly and also make relationship with county assembly. But if you give to the county deputy governor, it is more of colliding of the county governor and the deputy governor. And what is happening, even because they are fighting on that, this role will come up and it brings the conflict of interest between the two. Mr. Speaker, with those, because others has been highlighted, I don't want to repeat myself, but it needs amendment on these issues I have highlighted. Mr. Speaker, I support the bill with the amendment. Thank you.
Senator Manzo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to go back to the Constitution and, the county executive, how the county executive is formed. This is under Article 179 for the county governor and the deputy county governor chief executive and deputy chief executive of the county, respectively. Subsection 5, when the county governor is absent, the deputy governor shall act as the county governor. And then, also under Article 180, subsection 5, each candidate for election as a county governor shall nominate a person who is qualified for nomination for election as county governor as a candidate for deputy governor. Those are the provisions in the Constitution. And from the proposal which has been proposed by Senator Gathuri, Senator for Meru, who I have a lot of respect for, is seeking to delete the order section 32, which has 5 subsections, and bring in a new section 32, which has got, quite a number of, up to J, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, which has added 7 more functions. Mr. Speaker, if this bill had come to the Committee of Justice, I believe it would be looking different. Unfortunately, it went to devolution. Ordinarily, I think this sort of law should have come to the Committee of JLAC. Mr. Speaker, you will be aware that the idea is very good and very noble, and I think it should not be lost. We are aware as the Senate that quite a number of governors and deputy governors have had issues. But how to regulate those issues and how to deal with them, first of all, you need to look at the relationship. In the event the governor is no longer governor, the deputy governor is automatically sworn to office. Both of them have same qualifications in terms of qualification to be elected as governor. And therefore, I am looking at a situation whereby what is the idea? What was in the original idea of the original section 32? We have seen, like in the case of Machakos, when Mutua was governor, he immediately fought with his deputy and even brought him here for impeachment. The Senate refused to impeach, kept him without an office, without a vehicle, without employees, for as long as they were serving together, and finally exited. His next deputy governor was appointed the CEC in charge of finance. And then, there are many other examples in the country where we have seen deputy governors be brought here for impeachment, then it works or it doesn't work, and the two have to go and coexist. And what tends to happen when the governor differs with the deputy, then it seems to be a problem. And in a lot of cases, like in the case of Honorable Savula and his governor, both of them are shareholders of their government. I would say equal shareholders. Each person contributed to the existence of the other. Honorable Savula, having been a member of parliament and having been a journalist and is very vast with many things, I believe the two of them gel very well and help each other very well and are able to share power. But it was an idea for governor and deputy to share power equally. I don't think so, although such arrangements can be done. And even that has been the situation in the national government in Kenya. Since devolution came, and since we have a presidential system, each election, the election of President Uhuru and William Ruto were like 50-50 shareholders of their government. Similarly, at the first round, and even a second round, and even currently, the election of William Ruto as president and his first, the second deputy governor of the republic, it was a 50-50 arrangement. If anything, Rigathi Gachagua had brought, more numbers than the other. And similarly with the county governments, there's nothing to call out of order. I know you don't like the second deputy president, but even when you, Cherargei, when you become, there's no point of order.
Senator Manso, let me allow Senator Cherargei to raise his point of order. Senator Medu and Senator Thangwa, the chair is one. and I have allowed Senator Cherargei to raise his point of order. Senator Cherargei, proceed. It is the chair to determine whether it is a point of order or otherwise not. Proceed, Senator Cherargei.
I proceed with the class. Mr. Speaker, I raise understanding order 105 on responsibility for a statement of fact. But Mr. Speaker, straight to the point, have you heard my brother, Senior Counsel Senator Manzo, not senior colleague, by alluding and stating that the arrangement between President William Ruto and the impeached Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua was 50-50. Can he table the evidence to show that there was a 50-50 arrangement, Mr. Speaker, sir? As per the standing order 105. I yield back the mic, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Senator Manzo, you've heard the point of order. Are you able to table any document to that effect? If not, you can substantiate it.
Mr. Speaker, I can't table, but it's a matter of fact. I do withdraw that, but the way they shared government was a matter of fact. The point I was trying to drive in, Mr. Speaker, is that when there is a president and deputy, or when there is a governor and deputy, sometimes they are political.
Senator Manzo, take your seat again. What's the point of order, Senator Kinyua?
Mr. Speaker, I'm raising on a point of order 105, statement of fact. Mr. Speaker, it is so obvious after it was, I want to agree with Senator Maanzo that it was 50-50. I was a member of UDA. And Mr. Speaker, I want to state that after they disagreed, after they disagreed, Mr. Speaker, the Deputy President, Rigathi Gachagua, and the President, that is what caused what happened in all Kalau, Mr. Speaker. And you can see exactly
what is your point of order,
disagreement, Mr. Speaker.
What is your point of order?
I'm confirming what...
Take your seat, Senator Kinyua.
I'm confirming what Manzo is saying. It was 50-50, Mr. Speaker.
Take your seat, Senator Kinyua. Senator Manzo, proceed.
Yes. Thank you,
You're
Mr.
out
Speaker.
of order,
I'm
Senator
just saying,
Kinyua.
Mr. Speaker, ordinarily in the elections, and I'm sure some of us who will want to run for governor one day will find themselves in that reality. Your deputy, you may have to do a political agreement. And I think this is what drives to the problem after election, because ordinarily under the law, the governor is supposed to take full charge of the government, and the deputy is a principal assistant. And I think this is what our good Senator Kathuri was trying to, and the Deputy Speaker was trying to address. We know they have been concerned. I wish we could see the public participation report and how different deputy governors responded. I have heard these cries myself. I have helped settle situations where a governor and a deputy have differed and the county is suffering, the development is not going as used, the political situation has become hostile. And eventually, Mr. Speaker, we must find a solution to this. And having got to find a solution, I think what we should happen, what we should do, Mr. Speaker, at the third reading, we need to redraft this amendment bill to suit the situation. And that's why public participation is very important in any legislation, and especially the report and the adoption of the feedback from the people. This House has already now given feedback, and luckily we've got very experienced people in this House. Senator Sangwa and Senator Medhu have had an opportunity to serve in counties and understand this relationship very well. They have contributed very well, and Senator Medhu has contributed very well, and I think Sangwa will even do better after me. And I've also heard Senator Mariam, who has a lot of experience from the county where she comes from. So if you listen and follow keenly to people who are in this House and have worked in county governments before, and they have done so in senior positions, they are able, or representatives. I wish Senator Morago was here, who was also an MCA in Kirinyaga County, and now wants to become governor there, and I'm sure he will be a very good governor. It means that we have to draw that experience, and then using that experience, and especially from Senator Medhu and Senator Thangwa, redraft this and come up with something which gives a solution to what we are trying to form a problem. Although Senator Meth was put it very well. It's like trying to cure diarrhea. By blocking the exit, you increase the problems, and the person is likely to die. So we are likely. Yeah, we are likely. I'm just quoting. Yes, I'm just quoting. But I'm just saying the problem is likely to become more. And therefore, we don't want to increase the problems between the governor and the county governor. We, as a Senate, who believe in devolution, want to solve this problem, want to make sure that counties go on well. But I want to believe, if from my Makueni experience, now,
Senator Cherargei, allow Senator Manzo to conclude on his. Allow Senator
I'm just about to wind up, and I'm coming to the positive side of things. I want to say that in Kenya, there have been many counties. No.
Senator Manzo, you are addressing the chair, you are not addressing Senator Cherargei.
Yes. Yeah, I'm addressing the nation, and I've stated facts as a in case
Senator Manzo.
Yes.
You are on the floor?
Yes.
You're not supposed to talk to your colleague, Senator. Proceed.
But the interruptions are so much. I don't know whether Senator Cherargei wants to run this Senate alone. Then you should be talking alone if you cannot allow others to think.
Senator Manzo.
Chair, I want to conclude and say there are many examples of good working relationships in many counties in the country. One of it is Makueni. You know that the governor of Makueni and the deputy governor of Makueni. In Makueni practice, if the governor is a male, then the deputy is female. If in future, if a governor will be female, the deputy will be male to balance gender parity. And what has been happening is like the current situation, we have a deputy governor who is a former county commissioner and with long experience in government. And she's come out very hardy in terms of stabilizing the government and making sure technically the government is well run. In fact, when we have the national days, they are much better than the previous one. The previous one, the national days, you would find the governor and the county commissioner and a few people. But now it's a full-fledged, occasion in Makueni. And it's a good example of where governor and deputy governor can work together. I believe, even without this regulation, many governors and many deputy governors can work together. We cannot really regulate or enact laws to regulate a relationship. It has to be created. The people must be willing. There must be respect between the governor and the deputy, and there must be space and allow the deputy to deputize the governor. If that happens, I'm sure there will be no problems. There will be no need for this regulation. But unfortunately, in quite a number of counties, there have been problems. We have seen a governor bringing a deputy here for impeachment. Some have successfully been impeached, others not. And therefore, there is a need to make this law better, relook at it, a third reading, and make sure that it serves the country. I thank you, Mr. Speaker. I support.
Senator Thangwa.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. As I also contribute to this important bill. And this bill is seeking to give powers to the deputy governors, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, I happen to be a member of the Devolution Committee. And in the Devolution Committee, we went through this bill. And we gave our observations. And of course, we also give our recommendations, Mr. Speaker. But Mr. Speaker, before probably I say whether I'm supporting or opposing this bill, I just wanted to it to sink in your mind. Can you imagine having a deputy governor like Senator Cherargei? So now with that in your mind, Mr. Speaker, you realize you do not need this kind of law, Mr. Speaker. Because, Mr. Speaker, the law is very clear.
Senator Thangwa, I do not want to allow Senator Cherargei to interrupt you. I do not find anything offensive with referring Senator Cherargei in any other manner unspecific as you have done. Yeah, but watch the speech that you proceeded.
Thank you.
Content, especially in reference to your colleague, Senator, or any other person who is not in this House.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I'm well guided. I'm well guided. Now, Mr. Speaker, I want to give you a bit of the genesis of this bill, because I do understand, because it came to the Committee of Devolution many months ago. This bill was supposed to cure what was happening in Meru County then, Mr. Speaker. If you remember very well, there were issues of governor and the deputy. The deputy governor, the governor was impeached about 4 times and returned to the office. And they thought they would bring a bill that would create a co-governor. And this is the bill, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we cannot cure mistrust with the law. Just like Senator Medhu once told me, and I believe probably he said it on the floor of this House, you cannot force people, and especially politicians, to love each other. So this bill, Mr. Speaker, and I like using analogies, is like the best man of a certain wedding requesting some roles from the bridegroom, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, when you ask to be a deputy governor, your work is only one. You are a governor designate, just in case the governor dies or the governor is impeached, period. And if you feel you're good to be a governor, run as a governor, Mr. Speaker. The Constitution, and that's why I want to declare this law, Mr. Speaker, this law is seeking to amend the Constitution through the back door, Mr. Speaker. If you read the Constitution, Article 179, 2A, it says the County Executive Committee consists of the county governor and the deputy county governor. Already the Constitution is saying, so why do we say it in this law? Why are we saying this law that he should be attending these cabinet meetings, he should be given enough time, prior time? You're actually telling the governor, be writing to the deputy to invite him to the meeting. They have their own mechanism. Mr. Speaker, if you read the same article, 179.5, when the county governor is absent, the deputy county governor shall act as the county governor. That is the only role the Constitution gives the deputy governor when the governor is absent. If the governor is present, just go home and rest, Mr. Speaker. This is the Constitution. Why are we amending the Constitution by telling the governor, the deputy governor, to be a co-governor? So I do understand what they were trying to cure then. And since it was cured, and the person who the law was supposed to help is already a governor, can we just withdraw this bill and say, if you want to be a governor, just run as a governor, Mr. Speaker? Mr. Speaker, the law is already available. This law is in the County Government Act. If you read the law, Section 32 of the County Government Act, which is being amended by this law, Mr. Speaker, and you can see it has been amended by so many clauses, from A all the way to, Mr. Speaker, J. This law removes one of the fundamental sections that the law created when they got to know that the deputy governor is not a co-governor. He only acts when the governor is away. So if the governor is available, then he can only do what he has been assigned by the governor himself. Mr. Speaker, let me tell you what they remove with this law. Section 32(4) of the County Government Act says, when acting, remember the law says he should act when the governor is absent. When acting in office, as contemplated in Article 179.5, the one I've just read of the Constitution, the deputy governor shall not exercise any powers of the governor to nominate, appoint, or dismiss that are assigned to the governor under the Constitution or other written law. This law has deleted that clause. What does that tell you? They want the deputy governor to start dismissing, the deputy governor to start employing, So we are creating two centers of power, trying to cure the problem that was in Meru that probably was cured when they already impeached the governor, but I don't believe it was cured. Mr. Speaker, if you read that section again, 32(5), the governor shall not delegate to the deputy governor or any of the functions referred to in subsection 4. So the law is even telling the governor, you cannot even delegate that. Now here we are as a Senate, we are now creating two centers of power, trying to tell the deputy governor that he can even manage budgets and finances. That is the work of the county treasury. You know, if you want to be a county treasury, nothing stops you from talking to your governor, and then the governor can make you a CEC for treasury. Nothing stops. I am a former MCA, and Senator Mahazo has told us that we have a lot of experience. I believe in this house, nobody has more experience when it comes to devolution than myself. I've been an MCA, I've been a CEC, executive in the cabinet, and now here I'm as a senator, Mr. Speaker. So what I'm trying to say today is that we should not try to legislate relationship. If they're working together, work together. If they're not working together, somebody can resign. You are not supposed to be in an office if probably you are not working. And Senator Ledama, although I don't agree with him in most cases, he has said, actually the best thing is to scrap this seat of the county deputy governor. And I support, if we cannot cure the relationship, let's scrap that, and that is the amendment of the Constitution. Let's remove this seat so that if you impeach a governor, let people be given a new mandate to go and elect a different governor. Actually, so many impeachments that have come here, and you will agree with me, Mr. Speaker, they have been induced by deputy speakers. By deputy governors. So actually the problem is them, because they want the governor to go so that they can take the seat. So, Mr. Speaker, as I conclude, I would want to say the problem is more political than legal, Mr. Speaker. And since we cannot cure political problems through the law, let those who want to run as deputy governor know that the boss is the governor. The law gives the governor more powers that he can delegate some if he may. If you remember that gentleman who said, it says shall or may. This one says may, not shall, Mr. Speaker. So it depends on what the governor wants his deputy to do, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, if you look at H on the amendment, it says from time to time, appear before the county assembly to respond to questions. Nothing stops him today to appear before the county assembly. Actually, the county assembly can summon anyone. I think that is Article 185 of the Constitution, if the senior counsel can help me, Senator Ojenda. But that is what the law says, that anybody can appear. Nobody stops them. What these deputy governors are trying to do, they are trying to get power so that there can be two powers, centers of power, and they try to, because they are unable to impeach the governors, now then they can be push and pull between these two people. Now, who will we be summoning to appear before the Senate as committees? Will we be inviting the deputy, or will we be inviting the governor? Remember, Mr. Speaker, we have had problem with the county assemblies, whereby we have had 2 speakers, 2 county clerks, and even 2 assemblies. Can you imagine what this law would do? We will be dealing with these issues where a certain deputy governor has already taken the whole county headquarters to a different place. Now we have 2 governors who are dealing with the county. So I oppose this law and implore the senator of Meru. The problem you tried to cure was cured. So we withdrew this bill, and we have only 1 year to the election. Then people can appoint deputy governors who are willing to work together. If you don't work together, and I had Senator for Migori, Senator Edwin, he was talking about that removing a governor from the courier side is removing the whole community. And you know, Mr. Speaker, That's the exactly thing that we were trying to say here when the deputy president of this republic was being removed. Removing the deputy president is removing Murima, is removing the whole community. So, Mr. Speaker, because I do understand this was supposed to cure something very different, and it has been cured. I raise my case and oppose this bill, which has been seconded by Senator Cherargei, and I will tell you, you will be all called, all of you.
Senator Tom Agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I should speak from the dispatch. Mr. Speaker, I with a very heavy heart, I agree with Senator Thangwa on a number of questions. The first question, Mr. Speaker, is that a close reading of Article 179 that confers executive power to the CEO of the county, who is the governor, and if you read in there, deputy CEO, clearly shows that the governor, while holding the power in the county to appoint and to execute all that has to be done in the county, has the mandate to delegate executive power to the deputy governor. And Mr. Speaker, what this bill does is to try to designate or to direct the governor to share executive power with the deputy governor and the committee in the county, the CECs, as properly designated by the Constitution. Mr. Speaker, this is an amendment, is an unconstitutional amendment to the Constitution. The intention of this bill, Mr. Speaker, is to undermine the very provisions that the Constitution clearly provides for. And the proper way, Mr. Speaker, to elevate or to otherwise deal with the power of deputy governors, Mr. Speaker, is to bring an amendment to the Constitution. Short of that amendment, Mr. Speaker, it is impossible through a bill that is brought before Senate to kind of recraft, Mr. Speaker, the Constitution in a manner that is unconstitutionally trying to deviate from constitutional provisions. Mr. Speaker, this bill, and again let me also agree with Senator Thang on this, this bill was brought against the backdrop of the impeachment of the governor for Meru, whose action is still in court. And I must say that at some point she was my client. And the governor was since replaced with the deputy governor, who is the substantive governor of Meru County, though I understand that governor has suddenly become very popular after her impeachment. But Mr. Speaker, the point here is that this bill may have served its purpose and should have been dropped at this point, because it was tailor-made for purposes of Meru County and did not succeed at the time. Mr. Speaker, we have examples of counties where deputy governors and governors sit in well and work together for the people. Let me give you an example, Mr. Speaker, of my own county, Kisumu, where the deputy governor, Dr. Willie, is sitting pretty. He's a sitting pretty duck. He's out there. He only does assignments given to him by the governor. Other times, he's out there, he's idle. He does not perform any duty unless Governor Nyong'o assigns him that role. So that shows you that deputy governors who are not overzealous, who are not too keen to carve their own space, work well with governors who are in office. A strong deputy governor and a strong governor can hardly survive in the same space. If you look at the example of Makueni, Honorable Speaker, you find that Makueni is a shining example of a perfect coexistence of the governor and deputy governor. Look at Kakamega, but where, Mr. Speaker, in Siaya, for instance, you had Deputy Governor Oduol brought to Senate for impeachment by Governor Orengo, because the Deputy Governor was trying to carve out gubernatorial powers from the governor, which he cannot enjoy unless Article 179 is amended. Let us not, Mr. Speaker, cleverly take away powers of the CEO of the county through a bill or through legislation and purport to direct through the back door a governor to give powers to the deputy governor, including powers, for instance, as the bill designates, for a governor to appoint a deputy governor as a CC. That is shared power. You cannot sneak and share power of a CEO from the back door. Let it be done through the front door, Mr. Speaker, as the law mandates. Mr. Speaker, I oppose this bill. It is utterly unconstitutional and should collapse on its backside and die. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Senator Professor Tom Ojenda. Senator Kinyua.
Asante Bwana Spika kwa kunipa fursa hii. Kwanza kabisa Bwana Spika, nataka kumpongeza Seneta wa Meru, naibu wa Spika, kwa mswada huu ambao ameuleta katika bunge hili. Bwana Spika, amejaribu kutuliza mgogoro ulioko kati ya magavana na manaibu wao. Lakini Bwana Spika, kujaribu kutuliza mgogoro huu, kwanza kabisa mimi na itakumbukwa baada ya mimi kwa seneti iliyopita nilikuwa mwenyekiti wa kamati ya ugatuzi. Bwana Spika, naibu wa gavana wa Pokot, miaka 4 ilikwisha bila yeye kuwa katika Jamhuri ya Kenya. Bwana Spika, alikuwa ni daktari katika Marekani. Bwana Spika, Bwana Spika, sijui ni kwa nini hii sheria Kadhuri anajaribu kuileta hapa. Bwana Spika, mtu yoyote ambaye anawania kiti chochote katika Jamhuri ya Kenya anapaswa kwanza ajue majukumu ya kile kiti, ajue uwezo wa kile kiti. Bwana Spika, ajue anaweza kufanya vipi na kile kiti. Bwana Spika, kwa manaibu wa magavana kuja hapa, kwa sababu nimesikia wakati wamekuwa na vikao wakijaribu kuzungumzia huu mswada, nimesikia seneta wa Meru Kadhuri akisema ya kwamba aliwasikiza na kuna yale mambo ambao walikuwa wakitaja. Bwana Spika, wakasema hawapewi majukumu, wanakaa katika ofisi, hawana bajeti yoyote, wao kazi yao ni kukaa katika ofisi, gari zao hazina mafuta. Bwana Spika, ilhali inasemekana vizuri sana nafasi hii ya naibu wa gavana ni ya kusaidia kuimarisha kazi ya gavana wa kaunti, kuhakikisha kuwa tawi la utendakazi wa kaunti inafanyika kwa ufanisi. Bwana Spika, na iwe vema. Ikiwa hajapatiwa kazi yoyote na gavana, Bwana Spika, kulingana na katiba, mafuta anataka ya nini? Bwana Spika, kazi yake ni kukaa katika ofisi na kungoja. Bwana Spika, kutengeneza ama seneti kukubali sheria hii kupita katika seneti hii kutaleta kuingiliwa kwa mamlaka ya gavana. Bwana Spika, kwa sababu yule ambaye amepewa majukumu ya kuulizwa maswali katika seneti hii, kuulizwa na mtu yoyote hata pale katika county, ni gavana. Bwana Spika, majukumu ambayo yanapendekezwa hapa, Bwana Spika, ni majukumu ambayo yatatengeneza serikali mbili, ama tuwe na serikali mbili sambamba ambazo zitakuwa zinaleta mgogoro katika county. Bwana Spika, utendaji kazi utadorora, kwa sababu Waswahili wanasema fahari wawili wapiganapo nyasi ndizo huumia. Kuwa na mafahari wawili katika gatuzi, Bwana Spika, italeta vurugu, mvutano, na hii itakuwa imewekwa wazi na seneti hii. Bwana Spika, nimesikiza kwa makini Seneta Cherargei ambaye tulikuwa na yeye katika seneti iliyopita, na alikuwa mwanachama wa kamati ya ugatuzi, na jambo kama hili lililetwa na alikuwa mwanachama nikiwa mwenyekiti, anakubaliana na mimi. Sijui amepindukia wapi, sijui fikra zake zimepindukia wapi, kwa sababu yeye alikuwa akisema ya kwamba gavana anapaswa apewe mamlaka, awe anawajibika, na yeye peke yake ndio anaweza kuulizwa maswali. Yeye ndio amechaguliwa, Bwana Spika. Ikiwa deputy ama naibu wa gavana, Bwana Spika, kunasemekana ameshamiri, ana uwezo kabisa, Bwana Spika, anapaswa asimame kiti cha ugavana, Bwana Spika. Nikilinganisha, Bwana Spika, Rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya William Ruto, yule yuko wakati huu, wakati yule mwingine, Bwana Spika, alisema ya kwamba hakupatiwa bajeti, Bwana Spika. Anasema alidhulumiwa, Bwana Spika, na ilijulikana wazi alidhulumiwa. Bwana Spika, alipoona hicho kiti anadhulumiwa, akasimama kiti cha urais, Bwana Spika. Hawa magavana tungetaka tuwaambie wasimame viti vya ugavana, lakini sio sisi hapa kuja kutengeneza sheria ambazo zitafanya wao wenyewe tuwapatie majukumu ambayo kikatiba hayako, Bwana Spika. Kwa sababu mtu yeyote ambaye anasimama kiti, awe ni seneta, awe ni MCA, awe ni mbunge, anajua uwezo wa kile kiti anasimama, Bwana Spika, ni majukumu yapi alionayo. Hawezi ukasimama kiti, Bwana Spika, kwa sababu magavana wengine, Bwana Spika, hata kwa sababu nimeangalia katika ripoti ambayo imeletwa hapa na kamati hii ya ugatuzi, Bwana Spika, utafiti unaonyesha ya kwamba hawa manaibu wa magavana wengine hawajulikani, Bwana Spika. Yule ambaye alijulikana wakati anachaguliwa ni gavana. Haiwezekani, Bwana Spika, baada ya wewe kuchaguliwa unakuja kutumia mlango wa nyuma ili uweze kupatiwa majukumu ambayo hayuko katika sheria za Kenya. Bwana Spika, nataka kuupinga mswada huu ulioletwa na Kadhuri. Alikuwa na mafikra mazuri, Bwana Spika, ya kuleta uwiano katika gatuzi zetu, lakini uwiano wa gavana na naibu wake hatuwezi kuweka katika sheria, kwa sababu mapenzi, Bwana Spika. Hivi leo, Bwana Spika, hata tukiandika sheria zipi, wakati talaka inatokea, Bwana Spika, talaka, sheria ziko za talaka, na hawezi kuambia watu ni mpaka wapendane, wapende, wasipende, Bwana Spika. Kwa hivyo sisi, kile ambacho ningependa kuambia Seneta Kadhuri, alikuwa kama Mkristo, alikuwa na maoni mazuri, mwelekeo mzuri, na hata Seneta Cherargei kumuunga mkono. Lakini kile ambacho ningependa kumwambia, talaka ikifika, Cherargei, hakuna vile unaweza kuwapatanisha watu ambao tayari wameamua kutengana. Laikipia, Bwana Spika, naibu wa gavana wa Laikipia, kila wakati nikimuona kwa mikutano, nikimuona katika mikutano.
Senator Cherargei, what's your point of order? Senator Kinyo, take your seat.
Mr. Speaker, I raise understanding order 101, sub-article or subsection 6. A senator shall refer to another senator by the title senator. Mr. Speaker, sir, have you heard the distinguished senator of Laikipia referring to me as Cherargei? Can he abide by the standing orders? And you know, this is a ranking member. In fact, he should be thrown out because he's
Senator
a ranking
Cherargei
member.
made your point. I must admit that for the number of times I've heard Senator Kenyan speaking and making reference to colleague senators, I haven't heard him not making reference to them as Senator so-and-so. So he is in order. Proceed, Senator Kenyan.
Okay. Asante, Speaker. Na ikiwa nimemkosea bila kumtaja seneta, ninamuita seneta mara 4, ndiposa nikikosea ile nitakuwa nimetaja 4 inaingia, inamsaidia ndio aweze kuwa. Na pengine bwana spika anajishuku kwa sababu amekuwa akikoroga watu mpaka sasa inaonekana anajishuku ni seneta. Ni Seneta Cherargei, wewe ni seneta na sasa yeye ni seneta. Kwa hivyo bwana spika, nikimalizia nilitaka kusema ya kwamba Laikipia
Senator Kinywa, you know, the unfortunate thing with you is when you are given the leeway by the chair by noting that you are in order to make reference to your colleague by name and title, you've gone overboard. I do not want to permit an interruption to your contribution, but you need to also comply with the standing orders by speaking to the chair, not your colleague senator.
Asante bwana spika. Bwana spika, nilitaka kusema ya kwamba Laikipia, naibu wa gavana na gavana haonani. Imekuwa ni vigumu wao kufanya kazi pamoja. Lakini bwana spika, hata tukitengeneza sheria zipi hapa kusema ya kwamba ni mpaka wapendane, ni mpaka watembee pamoja, ni mpaka wafanye kazi pamoja, bwana spika, walipokutana bwana spika na kusema huyu ndiye atakuwa naibu wangu, bwana spika, sisi watu wa Laikipia tuliambiwa na wao. Kwa hivyo bwana spika, hatuwezi kuja kutengeneza sheria hapa za kuwahimiza kufanya kazi pamoja bwana spika, kwa sababu walipokuwa wakichaguliwa bwana spika, walikuwa wakivaa suti zinafanana, shati zinafanana, tai zinafanana, walitembea sawa sawa, walitembea miondoko iliyokuwa sawa sawa. Lakini bwana spika, wakati umefika ni watalaka, hatuwezi tumia seneti kuhalalisha mambo ambayo wanapaswa kufanya. Kwa hivyo bwana spika, kwa hayo mengi nataka kupinga mswada huu na kusema ya kwamba naupinga kwa sababu haya mapendekezo yaliyoko hapa ni mapendekezo ambayo katika kaunti ambazo wanafanya kazi pamoja, wanafanya vile ambavyo kunafaa. Kwa hivyo bwana spika, hatuwezi kutengeneza sheria za watu wawe na mapenzi. Nashukuru bwana spika.
Thank you Senator Kinywa. Senator Kajwang.
Mr. Speaker, I also rise to contribute to the proposed amendments to the County Governments Act. Mr. Speaker, the County Governments Act needs a thorough audit. It needs a thorough interrogation. 10 years after devolution, Mr. Speaker, this Senate ought to do this nation a favor by looking at the entire act holistically instead of in piecemeal amendments. Mr. Speaker, I have noted that today we are discussing amendments to the section of the Act that relates to deputy governors, but there is also another legislative proposal in the order paper to make further amendments to the County Governments Act. Mr. Speaker, how I wish we could perhaps sometimes tie some of these things up so that we have a comprehensive review and amendment to the County Governments Act. Mr. Speaker, the role of deputy governor is clearly spelled out in the Constitution. Article 179(4), which I like quoting whenever governors appear before my committee. I remind them that the county governor is the chief executive officer of the county. And it is for that reason that we expect them to respond to all issues raised in financial statements, in performance reports, in budget implementation reports. The chief executive officer, that is where the buck stops. The deputy governor is designated as the deputy chief executive of the county. Mr. Speaker, I don't want to repeat what everyone else has said, but I want to pose a question on Article 179(5), which says that when the county governor is absent, the deputy county governor shall act as a county governor. How do we define the absence of a county governor? Is it when the governor has gone to watch World Cup in the US? Is that governor absent? Is it when the governor has left his county and gone to another county, like Governor Orengo was in Homa Bay today and caused a lot of chaos in Homa Bay? Would the people of Siaya deem him to be absent from Siaya? Mr. Speaker, what we need to do is to have clear definition of absence of a county governor. Absence could be through impeachment, through resignation. Absence could be vacation of office through the means that have been defined in the Constitution. But there is also the absence which in corporate governance or in contemporary employment practice could be referred to as leave. Mr. Speaker, a chief executive officer, as defined in this Constitution, must be subjected to certain human resource policies and practices. It is not possible that a CEO can be on duty from the first day of his election to the last day of their election. We as state officers or members of parliament, we go on recess. This house does not sit from the first day of our election to the last day of our election. Is it viable that a governor can be present and able to discharge their duties 24/7 for 5 years? Mr. Speaker, there is something called leave that even our employees are subjected to. There was a petitioner who brought a petition here that Parliament should enact legislation to provide provisions for governors to take leave. And so if a governor takes leave, it could be medical leave. I saw the governor of Murang'a took medical leave. He had an injury, and he assigned his deputy the power to act in his absence. We have seen governors go on maternity leave. And, Mr. Speaker, it is very good and it's a wonderful thing if a governor can go on maternity leave. I am sure there are governors who have gone on paternity leave. When you go on leave, is that absence? Mr. Speaker, in corporate practice, that is absence. But even in that situation of absence, there is temporary incumbency. And, Mr. Speaker, what happens in national government should be applied to the county governments. Temporary incumbency is handled in Article 134 of the Constitution, when it talks about the absence of a president. And we have seen that exercised when Uhuru Kenyatta had to go to The Hague to respond to summons of the International Criminal Court. The Constitution foresaw that in a situation like that of absence, the person who steps in to fill that absence cannot have unfettered powers. Mr. Speaker, in the national government case, we said that a temporary president arising out of the absence of the substantive president cannot nominate judges, cannot appoint ambassadors, cannot appoint cabinet secretaries, cannot confer honors, and cannot exercise the power of mercy. What we need to do is to define absence and define powers of a deputy governor in a case of temporary incumbency. Would a deputy governor acting under temporary incumbency therefore appear before the Senate and its committees? Mr. Speaker, that could be limited. The same way we have limited the powers of a deputy president under Article 134. For me, that is a clarity that is required. Otherwise, everything else that we are trying to do here is trying to dictate to a governor how to delegate. Mr. Speaker, I would further want to make a proposal that we need to go back to the Article 185. Article 185 of the Constitution, Mr. Speaker, talks about a person, or talks about each candidate for election as county governor shall nominate a person who's qualified for nomination for election as county governor as a candidate for deputy governor. Who nominates a person to be deputy governor? It is not the political party. It is not the assembly. It is not any other person. It is the governor. It is the candidate for election as county governor who nominates a person who, in their considered opinion, is qualified for nomination for election as county governor, as a candidate for deputy governor. Mr. Speaker, if we had an opportunity to rewrite this constitution, I would rewrite Article 185 and say that immediately after an election, the candidate who is elected governor shall nominate a person who is qualified for nomination for election as deputy governor. Because when they go into a joint ticket, Mr. Speaker, there is a perception of being shareholders. And there's a perception of a 50-50 government. Mr. Speaker, I have seen that in Homa Bay County. The deputy governor resigned a few months ago. And the problem was there was a perception that there were two powerhouses that went into an election, won an election, and so people thought that the governor and deputy are co-governors. There is nothing like that, Mr. Speaker. Even if the party requested the governor to nominate somebody, the responsibility under Article 185 falls and lies with the county governor. If it is the duty of the county governor to nominate a person, Mr. Speaker, I would also rewrite this constitution to allow for the governor to rescind the nomination of a deputy governor, subject to approval of the county assembly, so that we don't have to subject deputy governors to all this circus that we have seen, them being brought to the Senate for impeachment. If we do not amend Article 185, as I have proposed, Mr. Speaker, perhaps we should amend it to say that where a candidate for election as county governor is required to nominate a person, that person should be of the other gender. That also will advance certain principles that are in this constitution that we've been unable to achieve. Mr. Speaker, there are two functions I have seen some county governments assigned to the deputy governor. There are counties that have said the county budget and economic forum shall be chaired by the deputy governor. Of course, statute requires the governor to chair it, but in many cases, some governors have allowed their deputy governors to chair it, similar to the Intergovernmental Budget and Economic Committee that is at the national government that statute requires to be chaired by the deputy president. I have also seen some counties in their county disaster management acts designate the chair of the county disaster committee to the deputy governor. However, it is not possible for Senate sitting in Nairobi to say that a specific role must be assigned to a deputy governor because, Mr. Speaker, the Constitution, again, Article 179(2), talks about the county executive committee consisting of the county governor and the deputy county governor and other members appointed and approved by the county assembly. It would be good practice to ensure that the deputy governor has got something substantive to keep them busy. But at the end of the day, before you apply for a position, please read the job description. This Senate and many members, pioneer members of this Senate, suffered from that. I was in the 11th Parliament, Mr. Speaker. And every day when senior members rose to speak, they were lamenting about the limited powers of members of the Senate. And people kept reminding them, you are the ones who wrote this constitution. Many of them wrote this constitution. How come you didn't know that the Senate that you created was the upper house in words, but the lower house in reality? So if you are going to go for the position of deputy governor, please read the constitution so that you do not have complaints and tussles thereafter, believing that you are a co-governor or a deputy governor. And I know that sometimes it's political compromises and political settlements. But the reality is, once the election is over, a bus can only have one driver, and the deputy can only step in when that driver is absent. And unfortunately, most governors choose that if they're going to be absent, the bus would rather stop and wait for them to come back. And that is why we need to allow governors to have a framework for going on leave, a framework for definition of absence, and then a framework for deputy governors to take over in the case of temporary incumbency. Mr. Speaker, because I want my other colleagues to comment on this, I would also want to request deputy governors to read the 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. Law number 1 in the 48 Laws of Power is never outshine the master. And that seems to be the problem in many cases where we have very competent deputy governors, some of them who are technocrats, serving under governors who are largely politicians, who know how to get the vote. And sometimes once they've gotten the vote, they have no idea what to do with it. And you find that it is a deputy governor who knows what to do after the victory. And so people start getting this perception that the deputy governor is becoming more popular, is becoming more effective, and so you end up with some impeachment motions that are not very useful to the counties in question. Mr. Speaker, I believe that there is more we can do to strengthen the office of the Deputy Governor, but not in the manner that has been presented here. And I do hope that at some point we'll rewrite Article 185, either to provide for gender pairing or to allow for governors to appoint deputy governors after an election. Mr. Speaker, with those remarks, I oppose this amendment.
Thank you, Senator Kadzwang. Senator Muma.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for an opportunity to contribute to this. Honorable Speaker, I'm the Vice Chairperson of the Devolution and Intergovernmental Relations Committee, and we looked at this bill. When the mover moved the bill today for second reading, I think he may have given the impression that the committee may have agreed with it as it is. Because it's 1 year since we actually submitted our report, nearly 1 year, Honorable Speaker, I will actually share that report in the House Business Committee forum so that members who have not contributed to this debate can also see what the committee looked at and what the committee recommendations were. Honorable Senator, Honorable Speaker, there are a number of things. Clearly, we have a huge problem between many governors and many deputy governors. That is the reason why deputy governors came together to try and see whether they can find a way and get assigned functions through the law. Even as they're doing so, one can kind of empathize with them on the basis that the office of the deputy governor is a public office that is a public resource. So to a certain extent, it is wasteful expenditure to actually put somebody in office being paid public resources and doing nothing. I think it is something that needs to be dealt with. But as colleagues have spoken before, and I support what Senator Kadzwang, Senator Methu, Senator, I think all the senators, that nearly all of them except for a few, have said, we need to be careful about rewriting the Constitution through this law. But even as we're being careful in rewriting the Constitution, we also need to be careful to ensure that we don't get into an overreach. It is the role of Parliament to make laws, but it is not the role of Parliament to do executive assignment of roles. And every executive has one center of power, one CEO. That's why, Honorable Speaker, 2013 to 2022, we had a president and a deputy president in office for 10 years. But when you hear the then deputy president speaking, he speaks as if he was never part of that government. And the only reason the world allows him to do that, because the buck stops with the president. So he's able to criticize what President Uhuru did. He was part of that government. He sat in that cabinet. And the only reason you might entertain that is because the buck stops with the president. Our constitution did not split the country to say the deputy president will be in charge of this, this, and the other. Therefore, when we are evaluating performance of a government, we are looking at what the portion of the president and the portion of the DG, or of the deputy president. What the DGs want us to do is to jump into the arena of executive implementation of its mandate and help the governor to assign tasks to them. I don't think we can do so. But we must acknowledge and be able to tell the governors that it is also wasteful expenditure to have an office that is receiving salaries and perks, but which is not intended to actually do anything, which is supposed to just sit there. I think that is something that we would need to look at. Honorable Speaker, when you look through the committee that we made, maybe our recommendation might just simply be one, because the second one was just reiterating the fact that the governor may delegate work, a provision that is already within the County Government Act. What we did recommend after looking at all the clauses, we actually proposed that we delete the clauses as provided and amend Section 32 of the County Governments Act to require the governor to assign responsibilities to the deputy governor and to ensure that the office of the deputy governor is adequately facilitated. Having looked at everything, we felt that that statutory requirement in broad terms may very well be the one that will then make the governor to actually assign responsibility to that office and to ensure that that office is running for purposes of carrying out that responsibility. I think that is the best arrangement that we can ever go, but we cannot go further to say, please assign him to do this, please assign him to do the other. I think all of those clauses, if we go about it that way, would be crossing the line. The Senate would now have decided to join the office of the governor and to try and assist governor to run their counties. And we did this knowing very well that it is not a problem with the law, because we have county governments where the governor and the deputy governor are working pretty well. They have assigned tasks to deputy governors, and those deputy governors are carrying out those tasks. We have counties where deputy governors are chairing committees. They have been assigned a docket to run, and they are running those dockets and delivering on their mandates without a problem. So we cannot say that the problem that currently exists, as somebody said, that the love affair has now failed and divorce is ensuring, that the Senate can cure that kind of relationship with this kind of law. So we are requesting as a committee, if you look at the detail, and we met quite a number of people, and we have a detailed report on each and every one of...
Senator Muma, when the House resumes tomorrow, you will have 11 minutes to conclude on your contribution to this particular bill. And now, Honorable Senators, it's now 6:30 p.m., time to adjourn the Senate. The Senate stands adjourned until tomorrow, Thursday, 23rd of July, 2026, at 2:30 p.m.
Good afternoon to you, and you're right on time for the Senate plenary sitting this afternoon, the Wednesday afternoon of the 15th day of July, the year 2026. This is the live broadcast of the Senate proceedings streaming from the Senate chambers, Parliament buildings in Nairobi, and it is a broadcast that is brought to you by the Parliamentary Broadcasting Unit in partnership with the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation. Time allocated for the sitting is 2:30. We can see members of the Senate making their way into the chamber, and right at the far end of the red carpet aisle, that is the Speaker's procession leading straight into the chamber. The mess, of course, is the head of the Speaker of the Senate, Honorable Amason Jeffa Kingi. That mess symbolizes the authority of the Speaker as well as the authority of the House. The Speaker will be presiding over this afternoon sitting. This is a broadcast that is brought to you by the Parliamentary Broadcasting Unit in partnership with KBC. Good afternoon.
Na tuombe. Ewe Mwenyezi Mungu, tunakusihi tutazame kwa neema nyingi na baraka sisi watumishi wako ambao umeridhika kutuita kwa nyadhifa za uongozi katika jamhuri hii yetu. Tunakuomba utuwajalie tuyatende na kufikia mambo yote yatakayofikishwa mbele yetu kwa njia ya haki na uaminifu, ili kustawisha amani, ufanisi na heri ya nchi yetu na wale ambao haja zao wamesikabidhi mikononi mwetu. Amen. Clerk, do we have quorum? Sergeant at Arms, can you ring the quorum bell for 10 minutes?
So the prayer has been said and the chair taken. However, there is a quorum hitch. The Speaker has directed that the quorum bell be rung for 10 minutes to allow for more members to make their way into the House and enable the House attain that much needed quorum for it to be able to commence. That is a quorum at the commencement of the sitting, which, as provided for in the House Standing Order, is 15 senators. So more members, we shall be seeing more members making their way into the chamber, and once that quorum is raised, then the business of the afternoon shall, without any further delay, commence. However, we shall take a look at some of the priority business that the members this afternoon shall transact. There are papers that shall be laid on the table of the House this afternoon. These are regulations that are meant to regulate gambling or the gambling industry in Kenya. They include the Gambling Control Licensing Regulation, Legal Notice 111 of 2026. All these regulations are for this particular year 2026 or have been formulated this year. The Gambling Control Conduct of Gambling Operations, the Gambling Control Foreign-Based Operators, the Gambling Control Advertising, the Gambling Control Gambling Appeals Tribunal, and the Gambling Control the Conduct of a National lottery. So these are legal notices that this afternoon shall be tabled on the, or shall be laid on the table of the House to be able to regulate the gambling industry in the country. Pursuant to provisions of Standing Order 53, paragraph 1, senators this afternoon shall also be able to seek for statements from the various standing committees to be able to get responses. Remember, these statements may be on matters county, inter-county, national, regional, or even international concern. The Senator for Machakos County, Honorable Agnes Kavindu, will seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Finance and Budget regarding wastage of public resources and the ballooning wage bill in the county government of Machakos. This is an issue that the Honorable Senator for Machakos County would want to understand, that is regarding the county of Machakos. The Senator for Busia County, Honorable Andrew Omtata, will seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Health. This regards the delay by the board of the Kenya Medical Research Institute, commonly abbreviated as KEMRI, to appoint a substantive Director General of the Institute. And the Senator for Murang'a County, Honorable Joe Nyutu, also has a statement that he will be seeking from the Standing Committee on Roads, Transportation and Housing regarding the delayed production and issuance of new generation motor vehicle number plates by the National Transport and Safety Authority. The Senator for Tharaka Nithi, Honorable Mwenda Gataya Mofaya, will this afternoon, once the House commences, seek a statement from the Standing Committee on National Security, Defense and Foreign Relations. This regards the recurring cattle rustling and livestock theft along the Tharaka-Kitui border. This is a matter that also touches on the counties of Tharaka and Kitui, Tharaka Nithi and Kitui County. The Senator for Tharaka Nithi also will seek a statement from the same Standing Committee, that is the National Security, Defense and Foreign Relations, and he will be looking to understand matters regarding the safety of Kenyan nationals in South Africa following the recent wave of anti-migrant protests in the country. Senator for Nairobi City County has around 4 statements that he will be seeking from different standing committees. One is from the Roads, Transportation and Housing Committee. This regards the delay by the Engineers Board of Kenya to process applications for registration of graduate engineers. The second statement will be from the Standing Committee on Labor and Social Welfare, and the Senator will be seeking to understand the remuneration disparities, or questioning the remuneration disparities between Kenyan and foreign employees working in international media organizations that are operating in Kenya. A statement from the same committee, another statement from the same committee, that is the Labor and Social Welfare, from the Senator of Nairobi City County, is regarding the use of Credit Reference Bureau, commonly referred to as CRB, information by employers as a precondition for recruitment. And the fourth statement that the Senator for Nairobi City County will be seeking is from the Standing Committee on Agriculture, Livestock and Fisheries. This regards the persistent delays in disbursing terminal benefits and salary arrears owed to former workers and retirees of Muhoroni and other sugar companies. If you're just joining us, is that the House is about to commence. The prayer has been said and the chair taken. However, there is a quorum hitch, and the Speaker has directed that the quorum bell be rung, and that is what is currently underway. This is just to alert members of the Senate that the House commencement has, or rather there's a hitch for the House to commence or other commencement of the sitting of the Senate regarding the quorum, that the quorum is not present, and that their presence inside the chamber is highly required for the House to be able to attain that much needed quorum, at least 15 senators, of course, as provided for in the House Standing Order 39, and also 40 that the quorum bell will be on. And we can see more members also making their way into the chamber. Once that quorum is attained, then the House shall be able to commence. So that is the situation right now. But once the quorum has been attained, then that quorum, that House or the business of the House shall commence. Back to the statements that the members will this afternoon seek.
Honorable Senators, we do have quorum now, so we'll proceed with the business of this afternoon. Clerk, you may proceed to call the first order.
Order number 1, administration of oath. Order number 2, communication from the chair.
Honorable Senators, as you will recall, during the sitting of the Senate held on Tuesday, 14th of July 2026, while commenting on the statements, the Senator for Nandi County, the Honorable Senator Samson Cherargei MP, stated as follows: I would like to thank the President for following up on his word on the 10-point agenda by ensuring that the 10 billion was allocated and provided for. The sponsor of Bunge la Mwananchi, Uhuru Kenyatta, in the last session committed 10 billion, end of quote. At this point, I cautioned the Senator for Nandi and urged him to ensure that his remarks were factual. Subsequently, the Senator for Nairobi City County, the Honorable Edwin Sifuna MP, rose on a point of order pursuant to Standing Order 105, challenging Senator Cherargei to substantiate his allegation that Linda Mwananchi was being sponsored by the former President Uhuru Kenyatta. Honorable Senators, as you are aware, Standing Order 105 states as follows, and I quote, "A senator shall be responsible for the accuracy of any facts that the senator alleges to be true and may be required to substantiate any facts instantly. If a senator has sufficient reason to convince the Speaker that the senator is unable to substantiate the allegation instantly, the Speaker shall require that such senator substantiate the allegations not later than the next sitting day, failure to which the senator shall be deemed to be disorderly within the meaning of Standing Order 121, disorderly conduct, unless the senator withdraws the allegations and gives a suitable apology if the Speaker so requires. I therefore directed Senator Cherargei to substantiate his remarks as required pursuant to Standing Order 105.1. However, Senator Cherargei was not able to substantiate his statement instantly and requested for time to do so the next sitting day pursuant to Standing Order 105.2, which is today. Now, accordingly, and pursuant to Standing Order 105.2, I now invite the Honorable Senator Samson Cherargei MP to forthwith substantiate his statement, failure to which the senator shall be deemed to be disorderly within the meaning of Standing Order 121. In the absence of such substantiations, the senator will be required to withdraw the statement and apologize to the Senate. Honorable Senator Fernandi, you may proceed to substantiate.
Mr. Speaker, thank you. As per your direction and the ruling, you had indicated in the last on the issue of substantiation that I present what I'm going to table to show my substantiation, Chair, to prove that the former president is linked or associated in support to Linda Mwananchi. So, Chair, I will table because it was humongous. I just brought the link because he would have brought it would be a whole lorry, Bandora Papers, Uhuru Kenyatta family secret assets exposed by WikiLeaks, and I provided the link to those assets. Number two, Mr. Speaker, I have also provided a link to full registered political parties to show that Linda Mwananchi is not a political party or registered anywhere. Finally, Chair, also various links of both written, spoken, and speeches linking President Uhuru to the outfit, and I provided several links to that indication because of the humongous. So, Mr. Speaker, I beg to table.
Thank you. You may table. I will review that and make a further communication on the same. Next order.
Order number 3, messages.
It is up to the Speaker to review the material that has been tabled and communicate further. During my further communication, you'll have time to seek whatever you want to seek, Senator Bond. You'll have your opportunity. Next order.
Order number 3, messages. Order number 4, petitions.
Honorable Senators, pursuant to Standing Order 236, 2B, I hereby report a petition by Mr. Laban Omusundi seeking for limitation of tenure of nominated members of county assemblies to 1 term. As you are aware, under Article 119(1) of the Constitution, and I quote, every person has a right to petition Parliament to consider any matter within its authority, including to enact, amend, or repeal any legislation. The issues raised in this petition are as follows: that Article 56 of the Constitution obligates the state to put in place affirmative action programs designed to ensure that minorities and marginalized groups are provided special opportunities in political representation. That Article 9 of the Constitution established party list nominations as a mechanism to correct historical exclusion and expand representations, not to entrench privilege. The re-nomination of nominated members of county assemblies amounts to a deliberate subversion of the Constitution intended to convert nomination slots into a closed system of political reward and patronage. That the continued recycling of the same individuals through nomination illegally converts public positions into personal property, locks out thousands of deserving Kenyans, including youth, women, and persons with disabilities, defeats the very purpose of affirmative action, and erodes public confidence in democratic institutions. Now, the absence of a statutory term limit for nominated MCAs has created a dangerous legislative vacuum being exploited to capture and privatize constitutional opportunities. That while elective offices such as president, governors, and other positions are subject to term limits to prevent entrenchment of power, there is no limit to the number of times a member can be nominated. Thereby, nominated positions designed for inclusions are becoming lifetime entitlements. That unless this is urgently addressed, nomination slots risk being captured permanently by a small, self-serving political class, thereby transforming a progressive constitutional safeguard into a tool of exclusion and injustice, and that this matter is not pending in any court of law or any constitutional body. Consequently, the petitioners praise that the Senate establishes a legal framework of imposing a strict one-term limit for all nominated members of county assemblies, with no exceptions or transitional loopholes. Honorable Senators, pursuant to Standing Order 238-1, I commit the petition to the Standing Committee on Justice, Legal Affairs and Human Rights. And in terms of Standing Order 238-2A, the committee is required, in not more than 60 calendar days from the time of reading this prayer, which is today, to table the report in the Senate for consideration. Thank you. Next order. Senator Sigei, kindly take your seat. Honorable Senators, pursuant to Standing Order 236-2B, I hereby report a petition by Mr. Mohammed U. Alasso, seeking for the reintroduction of the Elections Amendment Bill. As you are aware, under Article 119(1) of the Constitution, and I quote, every person has a right to petition Parliament to consider any matter which is within its authority, including to enact, amend, or repeal any legislation. Now, the most important issues raised in this petition are as follows. That the petitioner seeks for the reintroduction of the Elections Amendment Bill 2021 to amend the electoral laws to permit candidates contesting elective positions to have their popular or commonly known as nicknames included on ballot papers alongside their official names. That many Kenyan voters, particularly those in the rural and marginalized communities, know candidates by their popular names rather than their official names. That the absence of popular names on ballot papers contributes to voter confusion, candidate misidentification, and rejected ballots. That including popular names would enhance voters' ability to identify the preferred candidates, reduce voter confusion and electoral errors, strengthen electoral transparency and integrity, promote inclusivity, particularly for less literate voters, and increase public confidence in the electoral process. Consequently, the petitioner prays that the Senate reintroduces, considers, and passes the Elections Amendment Bill. Now, Honorable Senators, pursuant to Standing Order 238-1, I hereby commit the petition to the Standing Committee on Justice, Legal Affairs and Human Rights for consideration. And in terms of Standing Order 238-2A, the committee is required in not more than 60 calendar days from the time of reading this prayer, which is today, to table the report to the Senate for consideration. I thank you. Next order.
Order number 5, papers.
The Senate Majority Leader.
Honorable Speaker, on behalf of the Majority Leader, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the Senate today, Wednesday, 15th July 2026. The Gambling Control Licensing Regulations Legal Notice number 111 of 2026. The Gambling Control Conduct of Gambling Operations Regulations Legal Notice number 112 of 2026. The Gambling Control Foreign-Based Operations Regulations Legal Notice number 113 of 2026. The Gambling Control Advertising Regulations Legal Notice number 114 of 2026. The Gambling Control Gambling Appeal Tribunal Regulations Legal Notice number 115 of 2026. The Gambling Control, the Conduct of the National Lottery Regulations Legal Notice number 116 of 2026. Thank you. I beg to lay.
Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion. Order number 7, questions and statements.
Request for statements pursuant to Standing Order 53-1. The Senator for Mombasa County, the Honorable Mohamed Faki. That statement is dropped. Senator Faki had 2 statements. Both of them are dropped. The Senator from Machakos County, the Honorable Agnes Kavindu. That statement is dropped. The Senator from Busia County, the Honorable Andrew Omtata.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I have a statement. My request for a statement is on the prolonged delay in appointment of a substantive Director General of the Kenya Medical Research Institute, KEMRI. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53, Clause 1, to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Health on a matter of national concern regarding the prolonged delay by the Board of the Kenya Medical Research Institute, brackets KEMRI, to appoint a substantive Director General of the Institute. Mr. Speaker, sir, the position of the Director General of KEMRI has remained vacant since 2022, with successive acting appointments made for more than 3 years. This continued absence of a substantive office holder at such a strategic national research institution raises concerns about leadership stability, succession planning, and institutional effectiveness. In the statement, the committee should address the following. 1. Details of all acting appointments at the Kenya Medical Research Institute, KEMRI, including the list of persons who have served in acting capacity since 2022 and their eligibility for substantive appointment. 2. The legal and policy basis clarifying the framework governing the duration and renewal of acting appointments made since the Director General position fell vacant in 2022. 3. The reasons for the prolonged delay in appointing a substantive Director General, outlining actions taken by the KEMRI Board to resolve the matter and the outcomes of such efforts. 4. The steps being taken to resolve the issue, detailing measures being undertaken to facilitate the prompt appointment of a substantive Director General. Signed, Andrew Mtoto Koiti, Senator from Busia, 9th July 2026. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Senator from Murang'a County, the Honorable Joe Nyutu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for granting me the chance to read the statement by Senator Joe Nyutu on the delayed production and issuance of new generation motor vehicle number plates by the National Transport and Safety Authority. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Roads, Transport and Housing on a matter of national concern regarding the delayed production and issuance of new generation motor vehicle number plates by the National Transport and Safety Authority, NTSA. Mr. Speaker, sir, despite motorists complying with registration requirements and paying the prescribed fees, many continue to face prolonged delays, raising concerns about efficiency, accountability, and fairness in service delivery. In the statement, the committee should address the following. 1. The reasons for the continued delay in the production and issuance of new generation motor vehicle number plates. 2. The total number of pending number plate applications as at 1st July 2026, disaggregated by county vehicle category and the duration for which the applications have been pending. 3. NTSA's current production capacity, including plans to expand, modernize, or decentralize production and distribution with clear timelines. 4. The status of procurement of raw materials and other inputs required for the manufacture of number plates. 5. The immediate interventions being undertaken by the Ministry of Roads and Transport and NTSA to clear the backlog, ensure timely issuance, and protect motorists from penalties or enforcement action caused by institutional delays. Signed by Senator Joe Nyutu, MP, Senator from Murang'a County, date 1st July 2026. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator for Tharaka Nithi County, the Honorable Mwenda Gataya.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I have two statements. I think I'll be around to read both of them. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53-1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on National Security, Defense and Foreign Relations on a matter of international concern regarding the safety of Kenyan nationals in South Africa following the recent wave of anti-migrant violence in the country. In the statement, Honorable Speaker, the committee should address the following. The extent of impact of the recent wave of anti-migrant violence in South Africa, targeting foreigners, including the number of Kenyan nationals affected by the violence, and details of those assisted or evacuated to date under the government's voluntary evacuation program. But, Honorable Speaker, the committee should also look at the support and evacuation measures, outlining assistance provided, the number of distressed Kenyans registered for evacuation, timelines for their return, and arrangement for their safety until evacuation. But the Honorable Speaker, the committee should also look at the long-term protection strategies, detailing government actions to safeguard the Kenyans in South Africa and the diaspora generally, including early warning systems, crisis response protocols and frameworks for timely interventions in similar crises in the future. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. This is Senator Mwenda Gataya, Mofaya CBS Member of Parliament of Tharaka County. The second statement, Honorable Speaker, it is on a recurring cattle rustling and livestock theft along the Tharaka-Kitui border. Mr. Speaker, sir, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53.1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on National Security, Defense and Foreign Relations on a matter of county-wide concern regarding recurring cattle rustling and livestock theft along the Tharaka-Kitui border. Mr. Speaker, sir, on 30th of April 2026, 115 goats belonging to 3 traders from Gatue location, Tharaka North Sub-County, Tharaka-Nithi County, was stolen at Sekulo town in Kitui County. The incident is part of a recurring pattern of livestock theft that continues to threaten lives, livelihoods, and security along Tharaka-Nithi and Kitui border. In the statement order of Speaker, the committee should address the following: the status of investigations into the cattle rustling and the livestock theft incident of 30th April 2026 at Sekulo town, including whether any of the stolen goats have been recovered and the measures being taken to pursue and apprehend all suspects involved in the incidents. But, Honorable Speaker, the committee should also look at the security gaps identified along the Tharaka-Nithi and the Kitui border and the steps being taken to address them. But, the Honorable Speaker, the committee should also look at the reason why cattle rustling and livestock theft persists along the border despite existing security arrangements. The last one, Honorable Speaker, the committee should also look at the long-term measures being implemented to ensure the safety of traders, held unders, and residents in the affected areas, including timelines for deployment of additional security personnel. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Senator for Nairobi City County, the Honorable Edwin Sifuna.
Well, Speaker, as you know, we have been on recess. We just came back this week, so I have 4 statement material that was gathered during that period. I can take all of them at once.
Okay, if you have the strength, you may proceed.
Strength is the only thing we have, Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53.1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Labour and Social Welfare on a matter of national concern regarding the use of Credit Reference Bureau information by employers as a precondition for recruitment. Mr. Speaker, while the CRB was established to bridge the financial information gap between lenders and borrowers and to help financial institutions mitigate lending risks, its emerging use in employment screening is increasingly locking out many qualified young people from job opportunities. Negative listings deny otherwise competent applicants the chance to secure employment, even though such jobs would provide the financial empowerment necessary to clear the debts that led to the listings. This practice raises serious concerns about fairness, data protection, and the broader implications for youth employment and economic growth. In the statement, the committee should address the following. 1, the reasons for employer reliance on CRB information in recruitment screening despite its primary purpose of helping financial institutions assess credit risk. 2, the mitigating measures to be deployed to permanently safeguard job seekers from the vagaries of CRB information being used by employers to deny job seekers opportunities that may in fact help them clear the debts listed in the CRB. Regulatory mechanisms in place to protect private data held by the CRBs from misuse by individuals and institutions with ill intentions. And finally, measures for fairness to balance financial accountability with equal access to job opportunities, including the government's initiatives to harmonize employment practices with constitutional rights to fair labor and economic participation. The second statement, Mr. Speaker, is pursuant to Standing Order 53.1. I seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Roads, Transportation and Housing on a matter of national concern regarding the delay by the Engineers Board of Kenya to process applications for registration of graduate engineers. Mr. Speaker, according to EBK's service charter, an application for registration as a graduate engineer should be processed within 4 months upon receipt of a complete application and compliance with the registration requirements. However, applicants have raised concerns over delays in the registration process, with many applicants having waited for over 10 months despite attaching all requisite documents and paying the registration fee. This state of affairs has denied the affected young Kenyans various job opportunities and made the already difficult economic climate worse for the affected individuals. In the statement, the committee should address the following. Number one, the capacity of the Engineers Board of Kenya, including whether the board is fully constituted and adequately resourced to undertake its functions, the pending applications detailing the number currently awaiting processing, the reasons for the reported delay in processing applications, actions taken to resolve them, and timelines for finalizing the registration process. And finally, Speaker, the long-term measures outlining policy and administrative reforms to prevent occurrence of such delays. The next one, Honourable Speaker, is also pursuant to Standing Order 53.1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Labour and Social Welfare on a matter of national concern regarding remuneration disparities between Kenyan and foreign employees in international media organizations operating in Kenya. In the statement, the committee should address the following. One, the oversight mechanisms in place to ensure fair treatment and equal remuneration between Kenyan and foreign employees in international media organizations operating in Kenya. Number two, plans by the Ministry of Labour and Social Protection to undertake a comprehensive audit of the remuneration and employment benefits for Kenyan and foreign employees in international media organizations currently operating in Kenya, with particular focus on international media, where several Kenyan journalists, producers, camera operators, editors, technicians, and other media professionals have raised concerns regarding wide disparities in benefits. And lastly, the corrective measures, where necessary, detailing steps to address disparities and guarantee fairness, equity, and compliance with Kenyan labor laws. Finally, Speaker, I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53.1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Agriculture, Livestock and Fisheries on a matter of countrywide concern regarding the persistent delays in disbursing terminal benefits and salary arrears owed to former workers and retirees of Muhoroni and other sugar companies in the country. Mr. Speaker, the sugar sector, which for decades has sustained millions of livelihoods across the Western Kenya sugar belt and contributed significantly to the national economy, is now a source of hardship due to poor management, weak regulatory oversight, and failure to honor obligations to workers. Despite reported budgetary allocations, former employees of Muhoroni Sugar Company remain stranded within company premises, uncertain of when their dues will be settled. In the statement, the committee should address the following. One, the budgetary allocation specifying the latest funds earmarked for settlement of terminal dues to former staff in the sugar sector. Two, the timeline for such payment, clarifying when salary arrears and benefits will be disbursed to former workers and retirees of Muhoroni Sugar Company. Thirdly, the protection of affected workers, including assurance that those currently residing within company premises in Muhoroni and the other sugar factories can be retained until their salary arrears and terminal benefits are fully settled, and confirm that they will not face eviction before their dues are fully settled. And finally, Honourable Speaker, the situation in other sugar companies with particular focus on the terminal benefits and salary arrears owed to former workers and retirees of Chemilil, Nzoia, Miwani, Mumia Sugar, Sony Sugar, including indicative timelines for settlement where available. Thank you, Honourable Speaker.
Senator for Kisumu County, the Honourable Professor Tom Ojienda. Professor had 3 statements. All those are dropped. Senator Kavindu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity to read a statement on the wastage of public resources and the ballooning of wage bill in the county government of Machakos. I rise pursuant to Standing Order 53.1 to seek a statement from the Standing Committee on Finance and Budget on a matter of countrywide concerns regarding wastage of public resources and the ballooning of wage bill in the county government of Machakos. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Office of the Controller of Budget, in its county government's budget implementation review report for the financial year 2025-2026, reported that the county government of Machakos incurred expenditure amounting to Kenya shillings 249.1 15 million on domestic and foreign travels incurred by officials of the county government. In the statement, the committee should address the following. 1, the number of domestic and foreign trips undertaken by officials of the county government of Machakos during the financial year 2025-2026, indicating the officers involved, purpose of the destinations, and of purpose and destination of each trip, approval criteria, budgetary allocation, actual expenditure, and value of the money derived from the travel. 2, the number of employees of the county government of Machakos, including staff serving in the in the office of the governor, indicating their designation, terms of engagement, remuneration, and the total count wage bill, and whether their employment and remuneration comply with the ceiling prescribed by the Salaries and Remuneration Commission. 3, the reason for the expenditure of 200 Kenya shillings 249.15 million in domestic and foreign travels, and the ballooning count wage bill, and whether the expenditure was budgeted, approved, and incurred in accordance with the principles of the transparency and accountability and prudent public financial management. 4, details of audit and investigations undertaken into allegations, financial mismanagement, wastage, and misuse of public resources within the county government, including the findings, persons held accountable, and any remedial or recovery measures instituted. 5, the measures put in place by the county government to prevent and detect wastage and misuse of public resources, strengthen institutional oversight, and provide accessible channels through which members of the public may report suspected misuse of county resources. Senator Agnes Kavindu Mudhama, MP, Senator Machakos County. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Before I allow comments on the statements, I have this communication to make. I would like to acknowledge the presence of a visiting delegation of 2 teachers and 64 students from Kitondo Boys in Makueni County who are seated in the public gallery. The delegation is visiting the Senate for an academic exposition. Now, on behalf of the Senate and my own behalf, I extend a warm welcome to the delegation and wish them a fruitful visit. I will call upon the Senator for Makueni, the Honorable Maanzo, to extend a word of welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I would like to welcome Kitondo Secondary School from Makueni, Boni constituency. Mr. Speaker, one of the secondary schools which is doing very well in exams is a boys' school. Mr. Speaker, this morning, although they were not recognized, I had Ukia Girls Secondary School here, and I had an opportunity to meet the Kitondo boys when they were at the public gallery of the National Assembly this afternoon. I would like to welcome them and urge them to learn and hope that they are going to work hard. And one day they will be representatives of the people and will be members of this House. I thank you, Mr. Speaker. I welcome them.
Now, honorable senators, I will allow comments on this request for not more than 15 minutes. And therefore, if you get an opportunity to speak, kindly do so for not more than 3 minutes. The Honorable Boni Halwale. The Honorable Manzo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I would like to comment on the statement requested by the Honorable Nyotu. Mr. Speaker, this is about the number plates. And I'm aware also there have been quite a number of controversial issues relating to NTSA, Mr. Speaker. In our order paper today, number 14, is a report of the delegated legislation which had annulled 3 of their regulations. And while we went on holiday, Mr. Speaker, they thought they will enjoy, the wind, and by efflution of time, these regulations will come to force. Unlucky for them, Mr. Speaker, we have to vote for them. And the Kenyans must know that this House has pronounced itself on those regulations, and they are pending a vote of yes or no. And similarly, it's already a report of annulment. Similarly, those regulations Honorable Nyoto is talking about, they have never gone through the parliamentary process. Mr. Speaker, I've been in the Committee of Delegated Legislation now for 13 years. 10 years in the National Assembly, 3 years in this House. They have never been presented in either of the Houses. And a matter which involves counties like that one of number plates, Mr. Speaker, would have come to this floor, would have come to the Committee of Delegated Legislation. Unfortunately, it never did, and it is already being implemented, and no wonder now the Senator Nyotu is making a request of statement on the same, Mr. Speaker. Finally, I would like to comment on the statement of Honorable Okoiti, Senator for Busia, about acting position of the person in charge, the chairperson of KEMRI. Mr. Speaker, KEMRI is a very important institution doing research on medical issues in the country. We've got quite a number of threatening issues in the country and in the world, like Ebola, and these are the people who will be directing the country. Mr. Speaker, it's only fair that the government appoints a substantive chair. And not only this acting capacity, there are many MDs acting, there are many people who are just in acting capacity. It's a high time, Mr. Speaker, the government confirmed or appointed full people so that the country may be served better. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Fernandi.
Mr. Speaker, I want to support the statement by the distinguished senator of Tharaka Nithi on the issue of xenophobic attacks in South Africa, Mr. Speaker. It's so sad that all as Africans, we fought the white domination then. We fought against colonialists. But it is tragic that our brothers and sisters in South Africa are forcing out their own brothers and sisters from Africa. Yet we want to promote Pan-Africanism, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, if our forefathers were today to wake up and find that Africans are fighting each other, Mr. Speaker, it will be very tragic. I am aware of more than 53,000 Africans have been attacked and they have migrated, both documented and undocumented, Mr. Speaker. It's no longer about illegal migrants. The Dudula operation or citizen in South Africa is chasing each and every person that they meet, Mr. Speaker, regardless whether they are documented or undocumented migrants, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, I want to thank the government because the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, led by permanent PCS Musalia Mudavadi, and the Diaspora Affairs have ensured that they have facilitated repatriation, Mr. Speaker, of more than 400 Kenyans back into the country. My appeal, Mr. Speaker, and 53,000 have been removed from, and I'm told, Mr. Speaker, among 20,000 internally displaced people that has been changed by these vigilantes in South Africa, among them Kenyans, Mr. Speaker. So I want to appeal to the government that these 400 Kenyans who have come back without nothing, Mr. Speaker, I saw a story in some of the media. Somebody has built the enterprise. They have even married. They have children with South Africans, Mr. Speaker, and they have nothing for 20 years they were in that country. I want to appeal to the government to step in and stabilize them and ensure they give them opportunity, Mr. Speaker, so that they can be able to settle and even assist them by bringing them their wives and their children, Mr. Speaker, because you can imagine you are here and your wife and children are in South Africa, Mr. Speaker. With the current cold of January here in Nairobi, things might go South Africa way, Mr. Speaker. So even as we talk, we want to appeal in conclusion, Mr. Speaker. You know, I want to talk to South Africans. It doesn't make sense that 4% of the population are immigrants. And these South Africans, Mr. Speaker, want to blame everybody and anything for what is happening in their country. Mr. Speaker, I support the statement on the issue of xenophobic attacks in South Africa.
Senator Onyonka.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And on a matter that is a bit private, I would like to say that I appreciate the support my colleagues in this House, especially your office, gave me during my mother's funeral. I say a big thank you to all of you. Mr. Speaker, I'm going to be very short. The issue of NTSA that has been raised by our brother Nyutu, this is a matter that affects county governments, and yet in reality we have not agreed on what we are going to do in terms of how to manage NTSA management of our affairs in terms of motor vehicles. Number two, Mr. Speaker, the committee was supposed to have had an opportunity to sit down and explain to this House whether indeed who is managing NTSA, who's managing the funds that are coming through the NTSA, including the speedo governors which have been erected and all that is going on. I believe that with the questioning of with the coming of this question, there is a likelihood that at the committee level we'll be able to interrogate and come up with solutions to the problems which are bedeviling NTSA. Mr. Speaker, the issue that many of us have discussed for a few days now is the issue of the xenophobic ranting and fights which are taking place between our people, African people. I have a slightly different feeling, Mr. Speaker, about this matter. We are here talking about how Kenyans have been chased from South Africa. We are here talking about how Africans don't love each other. We are here talking about how this should never happen in Africa. Mr. Speaker, our legal framework on migration and population migration on the African continent is wanting. The issues which have been raised, Mr. Speaker, as to why South Africans are chasing the other Africans, we are not looking at them. Is it a matter that we are mishandling? Because we think that when South Africans are talking about we don't want these people in our country, do we simplify it and look at it as either a black against black issue, or is it a South African against other African countries issue? Mr. Speaker, I think even in our country, I have listened to very many individuals in private voices and private sounds discussing about how immigrants have moved here. You will quietly listen to Kenyans discussing how the Rwandese and Burundians are now the ones who are fixing our ladies' hair. You will hear how the Rwandese and the Malawians are now and Tanzanians are now in Kenya selling used shoes, mutumba clothes and all that. I think let us begin to prepare ourselves. What is going to happen when Kenyans begin to behave like the South Africans, where Kenyans will start also attacking foreign.
1 minute.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The point I was making is, let us begin to prepare ourselves on how we are going to handle our people of the African continent in case this matter cascades to our country, because we are acting as if this cannot happen around. I've heard it being discussed on foreigners, including Rwandese, Tanzanians, Burundians, Ugandans, all over Nairobi. At one time, because of these tribal disease we have about communities in this republic, you've heard many people talk about the Somali community. And these things are not justified, Mr. Speaker. Let's be prepared so that when it happens, Kenya will be able to handle it in the country. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this chance.
Abbas. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to comment on the statement made by the Senator for Machakos. Honorable Speaker, the issue of payrolls is actually becoming a big problem in this country. It's actually a syndicate that needs to be looked at. Honorable Speaker, the other day I was seeing in the TV the Minister for Public Service, Honorable Shuku, was actually having the same issues in the national government, where there's a lot of vague payrolls, even underage people being employed. So this is actually abnormal things. And the counties, actually, every county is experiencing the same problems. And actually, the source of this problem is actually the manual payrolls. And it's a high time this House must take an action, that we must work hard to see to that these business of payrolls should be controlled and it shall be automated. One other thing, Honorable Speaker, the Minister has taken this issue to the DCI to investigate, and that investigation now should extend to the county so that this business of payrolls and a theft of payrolls and money and people being employed, even underage people, and double employment should be curtailed in this country because it consumes a huge bill. And this kind of business actually will no longer be accepted in this country. Honorable Speaker, I also want to contribute the xenophobia that has taken place in South Africa. Honorable Speaker, South Africa, I think it's very unfortunate that the people that all African countries supported during the independence and stood with them as brothers are today being chased away and being killed. They've been looted, their property been looted. It's a very unacceptable action from South Africa. South Africa has experienced a lot of problems in the past when the time of the apartheid, and therefore these are the people who should have appreciated Africans to work with them, to live with them as brothers and sisters. But of course, the way they behaved was barbaric actually, and that is not acceptable to us, to other Africans who stood with them. Other Africans have contributed their forces, they have contributed their resources, they stood with them, but today they have kicked everybody out of their land. However, it is we need to appeal against that kind of behavior from our brothers. With those few remarks, I want to thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Osoti.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to also make my comments on these statements. Let me start by commenting on the statement on xenophobia in South Africa. I think what is coming out clearly, Mr. Speaker, is that these events happening in South Africa are likely to trigger disunity in Africa. But one thing that has come out very clearly is the role of African Union. We have not seen the African Union come out strongly to intervene in the matter of South Africa. And that sends shivers to many about the efficiency of African Union and why we should, as a country, continue financing African Union when it cannot address our problems. Secondly, the statement by Senator Kavindu, who is my neighbor here, on the ballooning wage bill in Machakos County. It is not just Machakos County, every other county has this problem of wage bill. And I think our various committees have tried to